In a dark prison cell, covered in dried bloodstains, a withered arm was cuffed to the two walls, her clothes also tattered and messy. It was Feng Yao, in a state that was no longer human. The cell door suddenly burst open, and Tan Diet and Trang Noctan stepped. Inside, they looked at Feng Yao and sneered. Noctan frowned and quickly ordered his daughter, "Time is running out. We need to take the immortal bone from her body. If we miss this chance, we'll have to wait for the blood moon 50 years from now." Tan Diet nodded and rushed over. "Yes, father." She scowled, grabbing Feng Yao's hair, then pulled it up and yelled, "Hey, wake up. Today, you are finally freed." My dear cousin, in what seemed like the final moments of her life, her memories flashed before her eyes once more. "Feng Yao, my name is Feng Yao, the eldest young miss of the Feng Manor. Since childhood, I have been well-fed, well-clothed, happy, and free." Feng Yao's parents also appeared. "How did you run to this field of flowers? What are you looking for here?" Her hands, having picked many flowers, she ran out to show them off. "Father, mother, let's go back. My parents were generals. Together, they led troops to conquer all 4 directions. Although they were often away, they loved me dearly. At the age of 3, they never returned from that battle. I became an orphan. Grandfather saw me as a precious pearl, loving me deeply, but it was ultimately not the love of a parent. Loneliness often enveloped me. And then grandfather entrusted me to second uncle. Second uncle's family treated me like their own daughter, pulling me out of that lonely darkness. But the good times did not last long. My older cousin suddenly fell gravely ill. Darkness once again haunted my life. At that time, second uncle knelt and begged me earnestly, "Yao, the physician said he needs the blood of a relative of the same age as a medicinal catalyst. Right now, only you can save her." The righteous Feng Yao agreed immediately. "I am very willing. Please use my blood." This was supposed to be a matter of course. Back to the present. Tan Diet directly stabbed a knife into her heart. Feng Yao was in agony, her eyes welling up with tears. Her dress was also stained with blood, damn it. "My dress!" Second Uncle Noctan beside her shouted. "Act quickly. The immortal bone can only be taken while she's alive. Once she's dead, the immortal bone will also disappear." "I know." Tan Diet swiped her hand, making a cut across her palm. She used her blood to suppress the immortal bone in Feng Yao's body. Her eyes grew hazy as she recalled earlier memories. Feng Yao had disregarded the pain to give a bowl of blood as a medicinal catalyst. After it was taken this time, she was gaunt and pale with no vitality left. Her older cousin recovered from then on, and second uncle took advantage of her even more. Feng Yao's innocent smile from that time now turned into streams of blood flowing from her eyes, filled with endless pain. From the wound, a light flickered. The immortal bone. Noctan smiled sinisterly and hurriedly instructed, "Quickly absorb it into your body." She hastily seized the opportunity. She excitedly placed the immortal bone into her body. He laughed heartily, full of anticipation. "First rank, 9th star. The power of the immortal bone is truly formidable. Dieta, the Feng family is counting on you." Tan Diet also felt the powerful aura and sneered. The fusion went very smoothly. "I must thank my dear cousin very much for nourishing me with her blood for these 10 years. Choose a good place for her proper burial." Feng Yao's strength finally depleted, and she slowly closed her eyes, letting go that that's right. We must choose carefully. After being so close for so many years, I'm almost moved. "Men, throw this piece of trash into the Black Dragon Pond." The servants directly threw her into the pond. Without mercy, Feng Yao slowly sank to the bottom of the abyss. I have returned to that dark place. Over 10 years of mutual affection. It turns out it was just a dream, like a nightmare. Feng Yao's heart was unwilling to accept being tormented and deceived by them for so many years. I hate them so much. Suddenly, at the bottom of the pond, a black dragon appeared, coiled up and staring at her. The black dragon coiled up, using its body to support Feng Yao woman. He began to sense her aura. Is she dead? Then the black dragon let her go, muttering in disgust. "How many ounces of meat can this body have? Eating it would just get stuck in my teeth. They might as well have thrown a sow down here." Suddenly, Feng Yao's eyes lit up and a brilliant energy radiated out. The black dragon below was also startled, not understanding anything. That energy bound his mouth shut. It split into gold-plated chains. It coiled tightly around the black dragon. Feng Yao vaguely regained consciousness. What met her eyes was a strange scene with a bagua pattern. Feng Yao's body was exhausted as she looked around in a daze. "Where's this place?" Feng Yao's eyes showed an endless sadness that I remember second uncle and and my cousin deceived me, and my immortal bone was taken by them. Could this be the world after death? The sharp pain in her chest was also gone. Feng Yao dazedly touched it and screamed, "The wound on my chest is gone." The black dragon was struggling, unable to escape the chains binding it. Its shouts attracted her attention. Finally, after a loud noise, he fell onto the magic bagua right where Feng Yao was sitting. She looked at him in astonishment. The black dragon glanced at her with a terrifying look and cursed under his breath. Damn it. It was the first time Feng Yao had seen a flood dragon, and she scrambled backward in fright. He also began to see a familiar person. The black dragon started to advance and question her. "You're that female corpse. Did you bring me here?" She screamed in terror, wailing pitifully. This also made him frown and sigh. He began to transform into a human form. At this moment, Feng Yao's eyes widened even more, staring at the black dragon's new appearance. He began to introduce himself. "I am the black dragon of this place, called Zili. Where are you from?" She just kept trying to back away, keeping her distance from this stranger without saying a word. He could only sigh and slowly step closer. Zili brought his face close to hers. Startled, Feng Yao's cheeks began to blush. Feng Yao panicked and pushed him away. "What are you trying to do?" Zili suddenly burst out laughing. With just a brief contact, he had learned her true identity as, "Oh, your name is Feng Yao, the precious daughter of a prestigious family." Feng Yao touched her forehead, stunned. "You can read my memories?" He nodded, frankly admitting, "That's right." Then he laughed loudly and said, "Your last 10 years have been a complete scam. You were deceived for 10 years. Your immortal bone was gouged out, and your body was thrown to the bottom of this valley. You are truly foolish and so pathetic." Feng Yao turned purple with anger, but in the end, she had been too trusting to go ahead and mock me. "In any case, you and I are both just wandering souls in this pit." Zili frowned. "Wandering souls? You think you're already dead?" Faced with his questioning, Feng Yao was bewildered. Zili sat down with her and explained, "You are still alive, and this is not the underworld or the Yellow Springs. This is just your spiritual space." He smiled sinisterly again, pointing at her. "Your body still has a little strength left to sink to the bottom of the valley." This information was too much for her to handle, that "I'm still alive." But Zili's next words were like a glimmer of hope being doused with a bucket of cold water. "Even so, your life is just one step away from the gates of hell." Suddenly, he stood up. He spoke aloud the thoughts that filled Feng Yao's heart. "You desperately want revenge. You are truly unwilling to die like this, so you don't want to let go of this last breath." He had hit a nerve, and she didn't know what to say. Feng Yao lowered her head, remembering that dark past as, "Oh, what if I want to, so what if I don't? My immortal bone is gone anyway." Seeing her so unyieldingly, Zili smiled faintly. Suddenly, Feng Yao asked about him. "And you? You're a dragon. How did you end up at the bottom of this valley?" Zili was lost in his own thoughts and didn't answer. He just sighed and turned away, speaking vaguely. "You have lost your immortal bone, but your immortal root is still there. What drew me here was the source of power from your immortal root. Your second uncle is truly short-sighted." Feng Yao still didn't understand his words. "What does that mean?" He pointed straight at her face and answered seriously, "As long as you undergo cultivation, the immortal bone will grow again on the immortal root, and it will be even stronger than before." But Feng Yao found this too difficult and mumbled in reply, "What do you mean, cultivation? You said I'm not far from death. Even if I survive this disaster, I don't know how to cultivate. Otherwise, from the beginning, Suddenly, Zili extended his hand towards her as if offering help. "You don't know, but I do. I can lend you a hand." Seeing his hand extended like a savior at that moment, Feng Yao hesitated, not daring to take it. Before, Tandiet had done the same thing to her. "Dear cousin." But what was the end result? She immediately turned away with a cold snort. Zili smiled awkwardly. He directly lunged forward, took her wrist, and placed it in his hand, saying bluntly, "Don't worry, I don't have a malicious heart like your cousin. I will help you master my method." Feng Yao's eyes were full of suspicion. "What method? To dig up my immortal root?" Faced with her vigilance, he just smiled calmly. "Rest assured, I am a dragon. That immortal root of yours is useless to me." Zili began to cast a spell. "I have been trapped at the bottom of this valley for 1,000 years. I've had enough. Perhaps fate brought you here to pull me out of this abyss." A string of prayer beads began to appear on her hand. I will sign this contract. The dragon pond's surface suddenly rippled. The few guards nearby looked over, bewildered. Feng Yao was pushed out of the pond's surface. Her hair was loose, fluttering in the wind. Her eyes had not yet registered what was happening. Feng Yao's eyes widened in surprise as she looked around. Then she started to feel dizzy and looked around. Finally, she collapsed from exhaustion and fainted. The sound of footsteps grew louder and louder. Found her. Quick, over there. The group quickly recognized her. It's the young miss. Quick, take the young miss back. In a thatched cottage deep in the mountains. Sunlight shone down on the front yard. A large white bandage was wrapped around her head. Feng Yao groggily woke up, hearing bustling noises in her ear that she's awake. Quick, go get the old master. She glanced and saw a young lady carrying a basin of water towards her. Where is this? Zeely poked out from the prayer beads and started talking. This remote village is not far from the Black Dragon Pond. These are all your grandfather's people. They have been busy everywhere trying to save you. She trembled, her arm not understanding what was happening. My grandfather? The bracelet was shining brightly on her thin arm. It seems your grandfather takes very good care of you, sending a whole group of physicians and guards. I have healed your injuries, but your constitution is too weak. You still need nourishment to restore your vital energy. At this moment, an old man rushed over. As soon as she saw the familiar face, she sat up and acted spoiled. Grandfather. The two of them hugged tightly. Grandfather. Yaoer, I've made you suffer. He glanced at the maids nearby and ordered, You may all leave first. Yes, old master. Feng Yao was choked with tears, unable to speak. Grandfather, He gently patted his little granddaughter. I already know the whole story. Grandfather sighed, blaming himself. After your parents passed away, I never took good care of you. I am truly to blame. But I never expected your second uncle would. She tearfully told him, Grandfather, don't blame you. I myself was deceived for 10 years. Only then did she realize their brilliant plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. From the very beginning, second uncle's family never saw me as a relative. What they coveted was only the power of the immortal bone in me. Grandfather comforted his heartbroken granddaughter. My good granddaughter, you were able to survive this great calamity. Your parents must have been secretly protecting you. I, Feng Lai, promise you that this matter will not end here. Your second uncle's family will definitely pay the price. 7 days later, at the Feng Manor, lightning continuously struck outside. Inside the manor, second uncle's family was holding a fake memorial service for Feng Yao. Tandiet sat to one side, crying heartbrokenly. Above them was grandfather with a sorrowful face. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside. A ghost! Second Uncle Nocton frowned and shouted, What's all the commotion? A splendidly dressed young woman slowly walked. Inside, he couldn't believe his eyes. What? You're Feng Yao. She had returned in a different form to claim their lives. Before the astonished eyes of her second uncle, Feng Yao confidently strode into the manor. Feng Yao. Second uncle's expression became complicated. What's going on? Isn't she dead? So heavily injured and thrown into the Black Dragon Pond. How could she be completely fine? Is this a person or a ghost? Tondit didn't care about anything. Younger sister. She ran over and started her act, crying, Is it really you? That day, after you fell into the valley, we kept looking for you. Where on earth did you go? We all thought you had. Feng Yao's expression became complicated watching her change faces so quickly. What's going on? Suddenly, another voice called out, Yao Yao. Grandfather looked at his granddaughter with joy and emotion. Yaoer, second uncle, stood anxiously by his side, pretending to be concerned. Father. Yaoer, second uncle supported him as he coughed. Father, don't get too excited. Feng Yao's eyes welled up as she looked at her grandfather, unable to speak. At the same time, Tandiet also hugged her tightly. She began to threaten her. You know my current strength. Don't say anything foolish. After saying that, Tandiet began her performance again. Younger sister, where have you been these past few days? We only found the wreckage of your carriage at the bottom of the cliff. Did someone save you? Zi Li's spirit hovered nearby, sneering at her acting. If my power wasn't sealed, I would have cleaned up all these people for you. She's really good at acting. Feng Yao pressed her lips together, weighing the pros and cons, thinking it over. She also began her performance. I don't remember anything. Before, Feng Lai had also instructed her. This place is not suitable for a long stay. You stay here and recuperate for a few days. After your body has no more issues, then return to the Feng Manor. He had also anticipated their moves. Your second uncle's family has probably already found a way to evade responsibility. At that time, whatever they say, you just go along with it. However they act, you just act along with them. As for the matter of them harming you, just pretend that you Don't remember. Grandfather, for now, this is the easiest arrangement. Right now, it's just one old man and one young girl. We can't turn against them yet. I can only wrong you for now. Feng Yao innocently made up a story. I only remember it seems I had a nightmare. When I woke up, I was in the forest. My head was very chaotic. I only know that I walked for a long time. By the time I realized it, I was already home. This sentence made the three of them frown in confusion. Even Li had to sneer. You only came up with one meaningless sentence in 7 days. But she still pretended to be innocent and replied, what do you know? The less I say, the more confused they'll be. Let them guess for themselves. Grandfather also stepped forward to hug her and look her over. Come here and let grandfather see. Are you injured? She shook her head, acting cute. No, Yaoer is fine everywhere. Grandfather, Yaoer missed you so much. Tondet stood to the side, glaring at Feng Yao with eyes red with jealousy. Then her mother spoke up, blaming her. It's good that you're fine, Yao Yao. It's not that second aunt is criticizing you. The more she spoke, the harsher her words became. But a child like you insisted on going up the mountain to burn incense. This accident happened, and your second uncle even took the Feng feather guard out to find you. Your grandfather was also so worried that, Noctan, he immediately stepped in and gave her a slap. You talk too much. She cried out in grievance. I was just. At this point, Feng Lai had no choice but to step in and mediate. Noctan. He still hadn't stopped scolding his ignorant wife. The child is still here. Grandfather frowned and reprimanded his second uncle. The Feng Manor has 3,000 servants, plus 1,000 Feng guards and feather guards who followed on horseback. Yet you searched for 7 days and couldn't even find one person. You have disappointed me greatly. Noctan avoided his gaze and mumbled an apology. Your child was not thorough in his duties. He then shouted loudly, the current status of the Feng Manor, your current status. Half of it was brought back by your elder brother and sister-in-law's sacrifice on the battlefield. Yaoer is the only flesh and blood left of your eldest brother. If anything happens to her, how can you face your eldest brother and sister-in-law? Noctan was so scared he directly knelt in remorse. Your child knows his crime. Feng Lai glared and stepped closer, pressing him, hand over the feather guard token. Feng Yao was bewildered while she was unwilling. The feather guard token. Tan Diet cried out father from behind, but he had been cornered and shouted, shut up. Noctan reached into his clothes, then pulled out a command token. Grandfather immediately passed it to her. Or, take it. She stood beside them, watching the token being passed into Feng Yao's hands, her heart helpless. From now on, the Feather Guard will only protect you. They will also only listen to your command alone. Feng Lai declared bluntly, you will be the master of the Feather Guard. She smiled and accepted the token. Thank you, grandfather. Back in her room, Tan Diet paced back and forth, frowning. What on earth is going on? Those two servants said they threw Feng Yao's body into the pond with their own hands. Even if they were lying, Feng Yao's wounds couldn't have recovered like before in 7 days. Noctan's face was haggard as he sighed. Perhaps she had help from a powerful expert. I've already sent people to investigate. She was still frowning and furious. That girl survived a great disaster and even got the Feather Guard token. She turned to whine to Noctan again. Father, why didn't you fight back then? Even if he was a great general who fought on the battlefield before, he's old now. With my current strength, Noctan slammed the table and shouted, shut up. Do you want to be branded as a great traitor? He warned his daughter, your grandfather is not wrong. This wealth was earned by him and your eldest uncle and aunt. Although he has been in seclusion for many years and doesn't care about family affairs, who knows if he has an ace up his sleeve? The old master doesn't have many years left to live. When he passes away, Feng Yao will have no support. Taking back the Feather Guard will be as easy as flipping a hand. Noctan thought for a moment and then instructed Tan Diet. The immediate task is to find out why Feng Yao came back from the dead. You should pay more attention to her normally. She glanced behind her, her heart full of calculations. But why didn't she reveal the truth back then? Could it be that she really lost her memory? A terrified scream echoed from inside the bedroom. Zili bared his teeth in a sinister smile. What? Didn't you say the bracelet was too conspicuous? She screamed in disagreement. This is even worse than the bracelet. Why did you move onto my back? You perverted dragon. Hearing those words, Zili laughed mockingly and teased. What's wrong? You don't like it on your back? Then I'll just change to another spot. Hey, you're so annoying. He continued to tease her relentlessly. There's no other way. You and I have signed a contract. I can't be separated from you now. Feng Yao cried, but you still can't. Finally, Zili stopped. Relax. I'm a dragon. You're a human. I'm only interested in the bodies of dragons. Hurry up and change your clothes. We still have to find medicinal herbs to help you regenerate your Dantian. Feng Yao was still crying aggrievedly. I can't get married anymore. Afterwards, Feng Yao and Zili went out to explore. To regenerate the Dantian, we need 10 types of precious medicinal herbs. Let's go to the pharmacy in the city to ask around first. He also curiously asked about the outside world. That IT seems like everyone on the street is staring at you. She closed her eyes, not caring. This young miss is naturally beautiful. Let them look. Zili turned to complain. Then why did you react so strongly when I looked at you just now? Feng Yao was furious and scolded. How can that be the same? After a short while, he brought up another matter. Didn't your grandfather give you the feather guard token? Why didn't you bring a few guards? She answered bluntly. Before, it was always second uncle who commanded the feather guard, so I can't be sure if they are loyal to me or not. Besides, for today's matter of buying medicine, the fewer people who know, the better. Zili was casually looking around when suddenly his eyes froze as if he saw something terrifying. Zili immediately pulled Feng Yao back. Be careful. A porcelain flower pot fell from above and shattered on the ground. From the upper floor, a shout echoed. Ninth uncle, when you're outside the palace, you should be more careful. How can this low-class tea be worthy of you? Shopkeeper, bring me a pot of the finest well water. Immediately, he grumbled and looked up to investigate. Which piece of scum is talking? Feng Yao rushed forward. Did I know this voice? From above, a voice said, that pot of Longjing just now was sour and bitter. It's for commoners to drink. How could it enter your mouth? He pushed the water towards the person opposite him. Or perhaps you should drink the well water. Ji Zian smiled and invited the ninth prince, please enjoy it slowly. Li Yuan was a blind man. He reached out his hand to take the cup of water. The fifth prince sneered, as if his goal was about to be achieved. Li Yuan's hand fumbled, searching for the cup. Just then, Feng Yao's clear voice rang out, bullying people in a tea house in broad daylight. He frowned and whipped around a curse. And you're even bullying your own uncle. You truly are a piece of scum, fifth prince. The fifth prince threatened her. Since you know this prince's identity, why don't you hurry up and scram? He picked up the cup of water and sneered. If this prince's hand were to slip and injure you, I won't be held responsible. Zili appeared, his lips curling as he looked at Ji Zian. This is too insulting. Why don't I just kill this brat? But Feng Yao shook her head in disagreement. No need. I have my own way of dealing with him. The attendant standing next to the prince quietly asked for his opinion. Your Highness, why are people gathering to watch the commotion? Do you want to join in? Li Yuan murmured a reminder. Just watch quietly. She folded her arms and confronted him. The fifth prince is right. I will pour tea to apologize to you. He sneered. Is just pouring tea enough? Ji Zian cleared his throat to show his authority. You also have to kneel. Before he could finish his words, the water pitcher had already been poured all over him. Feng Yao even pretended to be a delicate flower, hurriedly apologizing. I couldn't hold it steady for a moment. Please forgive me. Zian angrily rushed forward to retaliate. You audacious commoner. But she had already dodged to the side. Zili also lent a hand, stroking his chin cheerfully. The fifth prince tripped over his foot and fell humiliatingly to the ground. At that moment, Feng Yao stood before Jizian, cleared her throat, and shouted, so in the eyes of the fifth prince, my Feng residence, which has repeatedly achieved military merits, and my parents, who died on the battlefield, are all just commoners. It seems that anyone who protects the northern Yan nation is an eyesore to the fifth prince. Jili Yuan sat to the side, enjoying the good show. People of the Feng residence. Inside the tea party, murmurs echoed. Are they the fifth prince and the young lady of the Feng family? Even the current emperor must respect the Feng residence. I can't believe the fifth prince would. Ji Ziyan scrambled to his feet, cursing angrily in his heart. Damn it, he was furious inside. She was actually the third young Miss Feng, but on the outside, he still had to appear gentle. This prince did not recognize the third young Miss Feng just now. It was a momentary slip of the tongue, and the teapot slipping was also a momentary accident, nothing strange. She was still not appeased and rebuked, so a momentary slip of the tongue can be used to insult my Feng residence. Then Feng Yao turned towards the window, her eyes gazing into the distance with sorrow. A momentary slip of the tongue could have taken my life. Then she turned back and cupped her hands to everyone. The IT seems the fifth prince's apology is insincere. Today, I can only go to the Golden Loan Hall and ask His Majesty for justice. The fifth prince broke out in a cold sweat, terrified. Third young Miss Feng. This prince is truly sincere in my apology. In a moment, I will send someone to deliver a gift as compensation. What do you think? Seizing the opportunity, Feng Yao demanded double the price. Then give me 10,000 taels of gold as a medical fee, and we'll be even. Ji Ziyan's jaw dropped in astonishment. 10,000 taels of gold. Seeing he wouldn't agree, she started to cry and put on an act. If His Majesty knew that your highness insulted my father and mother. The fifth prince immediately tried to placate her, nodding in agreement that I'll give it, I never said I wouldn't. He gritted his teeth and turned back resentfully. This prince will go prepare the compensation gift now. Feng Yao was overjoyed in her heart. Now she had money to buy medicinal herbs. Next, she gracefully walked over and bowed to him. Feng Yao pays her respects to the ninth prince. Ji Yuan gently probed her. Having tea with a crippled prince, aren't you afraid of getting into trouble? She had long admired him in her heart. In Feng Yao's eyes, your highness is not some crippled prince. When Ji Yuan was a teenager, he fought on the battlefield, victorious in every battle, the god of war of the Northern Yan nation. If not for a defeat in battle 10 years ago that led to his disability, he would have long become the current emperor. She moved closer and proposed, would the ninth prince mind if I had a cup of tea? Li Yuan also nodded and invited her to sit. If you don't mind, have a cup of tea with this prince. Their hands accidentally touched. Both of them pulled their hands back in surprise. Feng Yao immediately changed the subject. Losing a battle is a common occurrence for a soldier. Could it be that a single defeat erases all previous victories? Her gaze was firm as she looked at him. I know the ninth prince is like my father and mother, a hero who guards the home and defends the country. Ji Yuan's face showed a flicker of astonishment. Feng Yao rested her chin on her hand and praised him. Besides, the world knows I am a waste who cannot cultivate, who jinxed my parents to death and brought bad luck to my older brother. Recounting the nasty rumors, she casually teased him. The ninth prince inviting me for tea is the one who should be careful. Li Yuan's eyes suddenly shone brightly through the fabric. Even Zili could feel it clearly. Strange, this person is clearly blind and disabled, yet he gives me a very powerful feeling. If you two are both so miserable, why not become friends to pass the days together? Her face immediately turned red as she snapped. What nonsense are you talking about? She cleared her throat and made an excuse to leave. Ninth prince, I have something to do at the market. I'll take my leave first. With that, Feng Yao turned and left. Ji Yuan seemed to recognize the person before him. Feng Yao. Could she be the crown prince's fiancée? In the bustling market, Feng Yao and Zi Li had gathered quite a few medicinal herbs. She held the storage ring in her hand. The storage ring contained a pocket dimension that could hold all things, and her heart felt lighter. The medicinal herbs needed to rebuild my dantian are all in the storage ring. Next, I just need the beast fire. As soon as she looked up, she saw Zi Li's dazed face before her. Why are you staring at me like that? He nodded in praise. You're quite impressive. To be able to find a medicinal treasure in a place like this. Feng Yao's luck was better than good. It was a medicinal herb that could refine the youth-preserving pill, the purple. Soul grass. The seller had just considered it an old item to be thrown away. Miss, if you like this vase, then I'll give it to you. Although there were no flowers, she smiled and thanked him. Thank you, boss. Zili looked at her with suspicion. Even the medicine shop owner didn't know that vase was a medicinal herb. How did you know? She shrugged nonchalantly. Because the medical book my mother left behind mentioned this. Flower. Feng Yao closed her eyes, recalling old knowledge and why mother left me many handwritten medical books. They record medical arts, pill refinement techniques, poison-making techniques, and no shortage of various knowledge. Every time I missed my parents, I would go and read those books, and now I have memorized them all. He came closer and patted her head comfortingly. You poor thing, from now on, I will protect you. I will definitely make you famous throughout the world. She grumbled and pushed Zili away. You're standing too close. Also, I'm not a child anymore. He glanced at her warily. Your combat power is almost zero. As I see it, there's no difference between you and child. Feng Yao threw up her hand and raised her voice. Wait until I rebuild my dantian and become strong. We'll see if you still dare to talk like that. Tonight, when the black market opens, we'll go by the beast fire. Zili chuckled teasingly. Whatever the master says. At the black market, Feng Yao was disguised as a man wearing a mask. Suddenly, her gaze froze for a moment. That is, over there the seller was hawking his wares. When she saw the bottle, she was astonished. The beast fire, the nine-headed purple gold spirit fox. Using it to forge a dantian would make one 10 times stronger than an ordinary person. The beast fire emitted a special spiritual energy. Feng Yao approached to inquire. Uncle, how much for this beast fire? Only for trade, not for sale. He named an exorbitant price. If you want it, bring a heart-protecting pill to to trade. She fell into deep thought, weighing the pros and cons. The heart-protecting pill is a first-grade medicinal pill. Although its price isn't high, its quantity is extremely scarce. In the entire Wushuang city, only the Imperial Palace and the Medicine Pavilion have a first-grade pill refiner, and only they can refine this pill. While she was thinking and calculating, wondering if she could persuade him to trade for another precious pill, a couple appeared and cut in. "I want to trade for this beast fire." Feng Yao glanced over, puzzled. "It's Feng Qingwei and His Highness the Crown Prince, Ji Zijun. Why is he here too?" Seeing him, she turned and asked, "Brother Crown Prince, what are you looking at?" Zijun shook his head. "I just felt that person's eyes looked a bit like Feng Yao's. Feng Yao had an accident. Is it all right if I don't go visit her?" She immediately hugged Ji Zijun's arm, acting cute. "Sister Feng Yao fell off a cliff. Her body hasn't recovered yet. It's not convenient for you to go now. Wait until she is well enough to receive guests. Then you can visit her. I think she will understand." She felt nauseated by those words that she couldn't stand to hear. Zili had just overheard the shocking news. "You and the Crown Prince." She didn't want to bring up the past. "We once had an engagement. Since my accident, he has never cared about me. Turns out he was with Feng Qingwei, but that's fine too. I don't like him anyway." He teased her from behind. "Go on and cry. Little girl, cry. Crying is not a crime." Feng Yao became furious, gritting her teeth. The seller still coldly refused Qingyue's request. No trade. She continued to stand there and observe. The most important thing now was the beast fire. She acted arrogantly. "My origin-bolstering pill can aid in cultivation. It's a second-grade medicinal pill. It's one grade higher than the heart-protecting pill, and you won't trade for it." The boss refused every offer. "Even if it's higher, I won't trade." He was adamant about one thing. "I will only trade for a heart-protecting pill." Qingwei angrily slammed the table. "Don't be ungrateful." Seeing Feng Yao's face, Zili became even more amused. "Looks like Feng Yao has a plan. As expected of the master I've chosen." Feng Yao stepped in front of Qingwei and chided. "The trading rules of the black market are set by the stall owner. If the conditions aren't met, a trade cannot be made. Does this young lady intend to break the rules of the black market, forcing a sale in front of everyone, being humiliated in public?" She became angry. "You." She even dragged Ji Zijun into it. "It seems your brother there's lost a lot of face. Aren't you going to comfort him?" Ji Zijun really did walk away. Qingyue hurriedly chased after him, pleading, "Yue was a bit hasty just now. It's because I'm at a breakthrough stage and really need this beast fire." She sneered, watching her retreating back. "I will not yield this beast fire to you." Then she turned back to the boss. "You refuse precious pills and only want a heart-protecting pill. It must be to save someone." Feng Yao fanned herself. "I guess that patient's condition is extremely critical. Even doctors can't treat it. That's why you need this pill to protect the patient's heart meridians. But you don't know that even with a heart-protecting pill, it won't last more than 3 months before their life ends." His expression froze at a loss. Feng Yao offered herself. "Instead of using a heart-protecting pill, why not let me treat the patient?" On the sick bed lay an old woman, completely exhausted. The black market boss led Feng Yao to the bedside. She immediately stepped forward to check the old woman's pulse, and a full set of acupuncture needles was also taken out. Looking at the needle marks, Feng Yao concluded, "Your mother, due to years of overwork and a serious illness, has weakened internal organs. She is about to enter the 5 signs of celestial decay." As soon as she finished speaking, she performed acupuncture on the old woman's scalp to treat her. The boss witnessed a shocking scene, the Qiankuan Bagua needles. His eyes looked at her with suspicion. Could this brother be a successor of the Sacred Healer's Valley? But wasn't the Sacred Healer's Valley massacred over a decade ago? An hour passed as a candle burned brightly, until the flame gradually died down. The old woman, who had been unconscious on the bed, finally stirred and woke up. The boss cried with tears in his eyes, rushing to grab his mother's hand. "Mother!" Zili, standing beside them, was wide-eyed with admiration. "You were actually able to help her absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth." Feng Yao packed up her tools and smiled. "My family's secret technique is amazing, isn't it?" The old woman's complexion had improved significantly. "All right, isn't your mother awake now?" He turned back and cupped his hands respectfully to her. "Benefactor." Feng Yao took the beast fire and walked away. "Remember, let your mother rest well. Don't let her overexert herself again." In the Imperial Palace, Zili aimed his curses at the palace. The Crown Prince's birthday banquet. "Why isn't there even a single thing for me to eat?" She was happily picking flowers and replied, "You're a dragon. How could this kind of food tempt you?" Suddenly, a low voice called out softly, "Yao Yao." Her face turned ashen with disgust. "Speak of the devil." Zili stood beside her, teasing, serves you right for laughing at me. The person who appeared was Ji Zijun. Feng Yao, neither happy nor sad, turned and asked directly, I wonder what business your highness the crown prince has. Zijun rushed over to ask about her, as if they had been close for a long time. Yao Yao, where have you been lately? Why haven't I seen you for so long? Are you angry with me? She immediately stepped back in disgust that I was resting in my residence. If your highness has no other business, I will take my leave. Zijun's hand gripped hers tightly. Zijun then used tears to cry. Yao Yao, what on earth did I do wrong for you to hate me so much? Avoiding me. Feng Yao turned back with a disgusted smile. Your highness the crown prince has never done anything wrong. It's just that Feng Yao has become aware of the distance between myself and your highness. Ji Zijun was still putting on an act. Must you be like this? Then he bluntly declared, I will not break off the engagement with you. Although I cannot make you the crown princess, I can take you as a concubine. As soon as he finished speaking, she became enraged and pulled her hand back. Your highness the crown prince need not trouble yourself. The engagement between us was originally just a joke from Her Majesty the Empress. With that, she turned to leave, ignoring Ji Zijun's nonsense. After I marry Qingwei, I will officially welcome you through the door, giving you the same ceremony as a crown princess. I will still dote on you alone, just like before. Suddenly, Feng Yao stopped abruptly and quickly untied the jade pendant from her waist. Almost forgot. She threw it back to its owner, not wanting anything to do with it. This was never mine to begin with. Today, I return it to you. After that, only Ji Zijun was left, staring blankly as Feng Yao walked away. Qingwei stood behind, her heart full of hatred. Feng Yao, you are clearly just a waste. Why is it that in Brother Crown Prince's heart, there is only you? Her eyes were fixed on her. Feng Yao, I will definitely make you suffer all kinds of torment in this life. My hatred for you will only end with your death. At the same time, the ninth prince was still outside the imperial garden. An attendant approached and quietly announced, Ninth prince, the banquet is about to begin. He also placed a blanket over Li Yuan to keep him warm. Let's go. In the imperial palace, palace maids danced gracefully amidst golden light and music. Empress Jiang happily whispered to the emperor, the crown prince's birthday banquet is filled with gentle and intelligent children. What does your majesty think? Ji Yuan Rue agreed. The empress is right. It can be seen that all the esteemed ministers have raised their children well. The emperor was also paying attention to Qingwei, but I think among the crowd, the second young miss of the Feng family is the most outstanding. I heard she awakened her immortal bone a few days ago. Such a peerless talent is truly a once-in-a-century rarity. She was startled and shy. At her mother's prompting, Qingwei stood up, shy and respectful. Your majesty overpraises me. This subject was just lucky. Empress Jiang suddenly smiled secretly. Your majesty, the second young miss of the Feng residence is so beautiful and outstanding. This consort thinks she is the best match for the crown princess. Noble consort, sitting nearby, let out a sound. Sister, this consort heard that you and the third madam of the Feng residence arranged an engagement for the crown prince. Isn't the crown princess supposed to be the third young miss of the Feng residence? Feng Yao. The two of them frowned and warned, Noble consort, Noble consort, frightened, admitted her slip of the tongue. Your majesty, this consort was just asking casually. If we break our promise, does the Northern Yin Empire not care about its reputation anymore? Ji Yuan Rue immediately gave an order. Where's the third young miss of the Feng residence? Feng Yao slowly stepped out. Your majesty, this subject is here. Below, the crowd's chatter grew louder. This third young Miss Feng's appearance is even a level more beautiful than the second young miss. No wonder the crown prince can't forget the third young miss. The person next to them also nodded. It's a pity she's a waste who cannot cultivate. The emperor asked her directly. Feng Yao, although a joke by the Empress Dowager years ago established an engagement between you and Juner, you are now unable to cultivate. The crown princess will be the future mother of the Northern Yin nation. The future mother of the nation must cultivate with Juner, fight on the battlefield with him, and handle state affairs with him. His eyes were calm, without a ripple. I intend to name your older sister, Feng Qingwei, as the crown princess, and name you as a side consort. What do you think? She immediately bowed. Thank you for your majesty's kind intentions. Feng Yao does not intend to enter the crown prince's residence. Feng Yao even humbled herself. Feng Yao knows she was born without a dantian and cannot cultivate, and is unworthy of the crown prince, so I've already returned the token of engagement to the crown prince. Empress Jiang Jiang's face lit up with joy. Then it's decided. The third young miss of the Feng residence is truly someone who understands the bigger picture. His Majesty will choose a good husband for you. In her heart, she sneered and breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, she didn't cling to Junior. She really knows her place. Feng Yao remained standing and bowing in the middle of the great hall. All around were whispers. Feng is beautiful, but cannot cultivate, snatching a woman from the crown prince. I'm afraid she won't even know how she dies. Whoever dares to marry the person His Highness the Crown Prince truly loves will become a thorn in the side of the future emperor of the Northern Yin nation. Suddenly, Qingwei rushed out to report. She knelt before the emperor. Your Majesty, this subject has a suggestion. Zili also jumped out to watch the show. What evil idea does this Feng have now? She immediately turned, annoyed, and cursed under her breath. He chuckled and explained, although you both have the surname Feng, she makes people hate her while you make. People love you. Qingwei respectfully presented her brilliant idea to the emperor. His Highness the Ninth Prince once fought for the Northern Yin nation, entering life and death situations several times. Now the Ninth Prince is past the age of marriage but still has no wife. Why not bestow a marriage upon the Ninth Prince and my sister, which would also be considered a beautiful story? Emperor Ji Yuan Rui also found it agreeable. But Ji Li Yuan spoke up to object. Your subject brother is a disabled person. What right do I have to marry and have children? Feng Yao immediately turned to object. The Ninth Prince was injured for the sake of the people. How can you say you have no right? Zili couldn't predict this move. What are you planning now? She immediately turned and agreed with her sister's idea. For this subject to be able to marry the prince is this subject's good fortune. Zili tried to intervene, but was too late. Are you serious? Empress Jiang hugged the emperor's arm and smiled. Your Majesty, the Northern Yin nation is about to have a double joyous occasion. The emperor smiled and nodded. If so, then let's arrange the weddings of the ninth brother and Junior on the same day. GZ Jun at the banquet table above clenched the jade pendant and angrily called out, Yao Yao. Returning to the residence, Feng Yao held her breath and submerged herself in the tub. Zili was beside her, advising, although it smells a bit bad, this medicinal liquid can help you suppress the beast fire. Her strength was also being completely drained. He continued to try and comfort her. Little girl, you must endure it, otherwise you will suffer a backlash and be burned to ashes. Seeing she was about to give up, Zili also lost his patience. Little girl, I'll give you a bit of my soul. Force. But he suddenly stopped, bewildered. Doesn't that mean I'd have to sit in the same bathtub with you? Zili frowned, thinking, for thousands of years, I have kept myself pure and done no wrong. Am I really going to ruin my reputation for a little girl? Unable to bear it, Feng Yao spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing she couldn't hold on, Zili had no choice but to worriedly get in. I'll let you take advantage of me. Suddenly, the door burst open. The master of the Feng family had a furious expression. The matter of Yao Yao locking herself in her room for 7 days to subdue a high-grade beast fire. Why didn't you report it sooner? The attendant replied meekly. The master instructed that no one was to disturb her. At the same time, the ninth prince also entered Old Master Feng. He didn't give the grandfather a chance to refuse. If you trust this prince, then let this prince take a look. Old Master Feng turned and thought for a moment. Then he did a complete 180. Yao Yao and the ninth prince already have an engagement. It couldn't be more appropriate to entrust this matter to the ninth prince. After everything was settled, he left Ji Li Yuan inside the room and closed the door. Li Yuan actually sat right next to Zili. Suddenly, he was sent flying out, all bruised. Isn't this guy blind? In the room, Feng Yao's mind was unstable, her clothes torn to shreds. The ninth prince approached. He stepped into the tub with her to exchange spiritual energy. Feng Yao's meridians were gradually cleared, and she regained consciousness. The first thing she said was to call for Zili. Little Black, did I succeed? But in front of her was His Highness the Ninth Prince. You risked your life to devour the beast fire just so you could cultivate. She broke out in a fearful sweat. Then she fell into the Ninth Prince's arms. Li Yuan successfully caught Feng Yao in his arms. He even took the initiative to drape his coat over her, covering the torn parts of her clothes. Li Yuan carried her out of the bathtub. Feng Yao wrapped her arms around his neck and fell asleep. The ninth prince's heart also felt relieved as he slowly carried her to the bed. In the room, Feng Yao woke up in a daze. What happened? I clearly remember seeing Zili sitting with his back against the wall. She asked him with a tremor in her voice. Did you help me change my clothes? Zili shook his head and sighed. Not me. It was that disabled fiancé of yours. Feng Yao's expression froze, not expecting it. Why was it him? Then didn't he? Zili was also fuming with anger. That's right, that brat took advantage of you. He was also sulking in his heart. He actually threw me out the window. I'm a dignified 1,000-year-old flood dragon. But Feng Yao casually dismissed it. It's fine, his eyes are blind. He can't see anything. Zili stared, unconvinced. I wanted to add fuel to the fire, to have her avenge me. She began to test her spiritual energy. Receiving such good results, she showed off to Zili. I have a dantian now. Does that mean I can start cultivating from today? He nodded happily. Yes. Quickly circulate your energy and try. Neither fast nor slow. A faint purple-blue light began to radiate around her body. Zili was also stunned. This is Phoenix Nirvana. The immortal bone is reconstructed. The more he looked, the more mesmerized he became. What you have is not an ordinary immortal bone, but a Phoenix immortal bone. Before, your immortal bone had not yet awakened. What Feng Qinghue stole was just an ordinary immortal bone. Now your Phoenix immortal bone has awakened. You have been reborn through Nirvana. She closed her eyes, feeling the spiritual energy flowing within her, then slowly opened them with joy. Feng Yao sneered. I am no longer the waste who was born without a danta. Zili's eyes lit up in anticipation. Go awaken your spirit soul. Feng Yao nodded. She began to focus and gather her qi. The two entered her spiritual consciousness, using her consciousness to sense the spirit souls around them. Choose the one with the highest compatibility with you. That will be the most suitable spirit soul for you. Suddenly, Feng Yao opened her eyes and saw a fire phoenix flying around her head. She slowly reached out to it. The fire phoenix spirit soul wrapped around her, then merged with her, becoming one. All of this was witnessed by Zili. He congratulated her enthusiastically. The first spirit soul you awakened is actually a fire phoenix, plus your immortal bone. In the future, you will surely be able to reach the godless realm that many dream of. The two held hands, overwhelmed with happiness. Suddenly, Feng Yao was startled. She began to wonder, pointing at him, Zili, what is your spirit soul? Zili's hands suddenly dropped. We demonic beasts don't have spirit souls. He turned his face away, heartbroken, because our original forms are already demonic beasts. But she was still curious. Then how do you know so much about spirit souls? His gaze suddenly froze for a moment. A series of painful old memories returned. Because of my former master, Feng Yao also felt sorry for him and patted him comfortingly. From now on, you have me. I will work hard to cultivate and will also protect you well. She even winked and made all sorts of promises. How about this? Wait until I become a martial god. I'll go with you to find those old geezers who sealed you, and I'll help you get revenge. Zili was comforted and became happier. All right, it's a deal. In the Feng manor, inside the study, Grandfather Feng Lai was engrossed in his books, his face full of worry, wondering about Yao and not having a dantian. If this method could be used, suddenly she appeared outside the door. Grandfather, seeing her looking refreshed, his heart felt as if a great burden had been lifted. Yao, you're all right. Feng Yao hugged his arm coquettishly. Grandfather, it's Yao's fault for making you worry these past few days. Feng Lai frowned, pulled his hand back, and lectured sternly. If you had told Grandfather the truth about what happened that day, then Grandfather wouldn't hold it against you. Her face immediately became resolute as she softly asked Feng Lai a question. I wonder if Grandfather has ever heard of someone born without a dantian being able to create one? He pondered thoughtfully. I once heard your mother mention it, but it's too hard to believe. I don't know if it's true or false. So she smiled and showed off to him. Grandfather, I can cultivate now. Feng Lai was astonished and couldn't believe it. You've recreated your dantian. Feng Yao nodded eagerly. I succeeded. The scent of agarwood wafted through the room. Grandfather, holding a teacup, carefully instructed his granddaughter. Don't spread the news that you can cultivate for now. After all, the matter of creating a dantian is too unbelievable. Once this news gets out, it will surely bring you a lot of trouble. Feng Yao nodded in agreement. Grandfather, you're my closest relative, so I only told you. She also honestly recounted to Feng Lai. Besides you, I won't tell anyone else. Grandfather added a reminder. The person who saved you was the ninth prince. You should pick a free time to go to the ninth prince's manor to thank him. She replied obediently, I know, Grandfather. That day, Feng Yao went to the ninth prince's manor. The chief steward led her into the imperial garden. Third Miss Feng, it's just up ahead. She accidentally missed a step. She felt a bit dizzy and staggered forward. The ninth prince was sitting by the cherry blossom tree waiting for them. The chief steward brought the person over and respectfully addressed Li Yuan. Your Highness, third Miss Feng has arrived. Feng Yao stepped forward and curtsied. Thank you, ninth prince, for saving me. Li Yuan immediately replied. I only wanted to save a person. I never thought about being thanked. She suddenly froze, a little stunned. Feng Yao hurriedly explained. You saved me. You don't need to apologize. She sat opposite him, still not wanting to be indebted to the ninth prince, and proposed a great idea. I don't know how to thank you. May I take your pulse to check your illness? Li Yuan let out a soft, oh, not expecting Miss Feng to be a physician. It's just that my legs and eyes have been ruined for 10 years. They can't be cured, but she still insisted on taking a look. Let me try, can I? In such a charming setting. Li Yuan didn't feel it was right to refuse. He agreed to this request. Then I'll have to trouble Miss Feng. But what she wanted was something else. May I look at your eyes? The ninth prince had a question for her. I want to ask Miss Feng a question. Feng Yao immediately guessed his question. You want to ask why I agreed to His Majesty's marriage arrangement? Li Yuan lowered his head, full of worry. This prince is blind in the eyes and crippled in the legs, a good-for-nothing person. She still smiled and replied, so what? I'm also just a piece of trash born without a dantian. It just so happens that in the future, no one will despise me. The ninth prince's heart felt somewhat comforted. Li Yuan slowly removed the gauze. His eyes were a pair of amber-colored eyes. Feng Yao began to take out her acupuncture tools. The chief steward standing beside her also grew anxious. Third Miss Feng, can my master's eyes still be cured? She began to take his pulse to diagnose the illness. Oh, the prince's eyes are blind due to poisoning. If we can find a way to clear the toxins, they can still recover. Seeing a glimmer of hope, the chief steward was overjoyed. But the next sentence made the chief steward despondent again. But the legs are much more serious. The muscles in the prince's 2 legs have necrotized. Her expression turned grim. Wanting to stand up again will be very difficult, I'm afraid. But the ninth prince was already partly cheered up. It's all right, as long as my eyes can be cured. That's already very good news. Being trusted by him, Feng Yao's heart burned even brighter. I will do my best. Under the cherry blossom petals fluttering in the wind, she raised an acupuncture needle. After a tense acupuncture session, Feng Yao asked the ninth prince with concern, how is it? Do you feel anything? The prince vaguely sensed. It seems there's a warm current. She immediately leaned closer, facing Li Yuan to observe. And then what? He shyly turned away, avoiding Feng Yao. That warm current rushed from my dantian to my mind. Then it moved towards my eyes. She smiled and offered a great idea. Then from now on, I will come every day to give you acupuncture, and I will also help you prepare some medicinal paste to apply to your eyes. We'll see the results in a month. Li, eavesdropping from over the wall, also shared in the joy. Li Yuan looked at her and hummed in agreement. The Feng manor peeked out from behind the lush green trees. Feng Yao and Li returned. As soon as they pushed the door open, it was already very lively inside. Li immediately saw through the malicious intent. Hey, this is deliberately for you to see. Qingyu browsed through all sorts of jade and jeweled items. Her mother's eyes also widened with delight. It seems His Highness the Crown Prince thinks very highly of our Yuer. Among the 120 chests of betrothal gifts sent, there are several chests of high-grade cultivation medicinal herbs, you know? But she didn't care in the slightest and walked straight past. Feng Yao scoffed. Her childish antics like this are truly ridiculous. Qingyu, of course, wouldn't let this slide. She stepped forward to block the way. Stop. Li also curled his lip in a disdainful smirk. It seems no matter what, they are determined to find an excuse to cause trouble today. Qingyu resorted to taunting. Feng Yao, I know that Crown Prince brother changed his mind to marry me, and you're very resentful in your heart. But you must accept this reality. She waved her hand in disgust. Feng Qingyu, which of your eyes saw that I was resentful? With that, Feng Yao walked past without a care. The things that are precious in your eyes are not worth a penny in my eyes. Qingyu angrily grabbed the hem of her clothes and pulled her back. She started to pick a fight. Insolent, you dare to call His Highness the Crown Prince a thing. Of sorts. Feng Yao frowned and retorted immediately. I never said that. On the contrary, are you saying that everything you say is the truth? Qingyu didn't expect her to become so formidable after returning. She flew into a rage and raised her hand for a mighty slap. Nonsense. Let's see how I teach you a lesson. The mother stood frozen, mouth agape. A loud slap echoed in the silent space. But the one who got slapped was Qingyu. Her face swelled up red. Ah, she immediately rushed forward to curse. Feng Yao, you bitch, you actually dare to hit me. Another mighty slap landed. She angrily reprimanded. The one being insolent is you. Is that how you speak to your royal aunt? The mother immediately stepped forward to defend her daughter. Feng Yao, are you trying to rebel? Men, seize her for me. A few servants also appeared, wanting to grab her. But this time, Feng Yao wasn't going to let them walk all over her. Aunt, Sister Qing, you said I speak nonsense. I'm also her aunt. I am teaching her a lesson on your behalf. Why do you still want to seize me? She smoothed her hair aggressively. Unless it's because your family has no regard for the ninth prince, which is why you dare to treat me, the ninth princess consort, this way. At this moment, second Uncle Yuqing also appeared, shouting, Feng Yao, if you still want to live in peace, you'd better be obedient. He began to threaten, otherwise you might not even be able to get married. Feng Yao scoffed, bringing up the past. Are you planning to dig out my bones again? They were stunned, not expecting it. You actually still remember, it won't be as easy as just digging out your bones. She retorted, tit for tat, since I was able to come back alive, then I won't let you people manipulate me. Zili, at her side, was deep in thought, little girl. He turned to blame himself. Damn it, if my power was still here, I would never let the little girl suffer such grievances. Two pairs of eyes, two murderous auras, neither willing to back down. A voice echoing from outside the gate immediately broke the atmosphere inside. The betrothal gifts have arrived. A whole group of people carrying countless chests of fine goods entered the Feng Manor. Yu Cheng hurried out to welcome them. Commander Liu, why have you come? This is... Cheng Jun nodded and replied, by order of the ninth prince, I have come to deliver the betrothal gifts. Cheng Jun quickly opened the book, then I will read the list once. 100 South Sea luminous pearls, 500 bolts of immortal cloud satin. Both Qing Yu and her mother were stunned and gasped. Damn it, why is that blind man so willing to spend? This chest could be sold for a lot of money. Commander Liu's voice continued steadily. 20 chests of jewelry, 1,000-year-old snow lotus, 1,000-year-old ginseng root, 10 500-year-old red ginseng fruits, 5,100-year-old lingji mushrooms. Zi Li whispered in her ear from the side. Hey, some of these treasures even I have never seen before. The evening sun was setting over the Feng Manor. Cheng Jun's throat was dry from reading. In total, there are 360 chests. Then Cheng Jun handed it to her personally. Third Miss Feng, please accept the list. Feng Yao smiled brightly. Is the ninth prince's manor that rich? Commander Liu smiled and replied respectfully. My master said he is willing to spend his entire fortune to marry Miss Feng as his wife. Zili quietly advised, this young lad really knows how to win people over, little girl. Don't fall for his trick because of these things. She seriously reminded him, what young lad? You should show some respect for our boss. Then Cheng Jun saluted. I hope Miss Feng can forget about the past matter and be devoted to my master. Her heart began to ponder. The past matter refers to GZ, Jun Feng. Yao patted her chest and confidently acknowledged. Rest assured, Commander Liu, please tell the ninth prince. If he does not fail me, I will not fail him. Cheng Jun also stood up for her, princess consort. In the future, if anyone with no eyes troubles you. Commander Liu cleared his throat. Just tell this subordinate will definitely teach that person how to behave. The soldiers also chimed in, siding with her, we will definitely teach him how to behave. With backing, Feng Yao was happier than ever. All right, she stood muttering as she looked at the 360 chests. So many things. I'll probably have to ask the U guards to help me move them back someday. Then, she also spoke with veiled words. These are all good things. If not stored carefully, they might get stolen one day. Qing Yu was furious but didn't dare to talk back. Yu Cheng showed his displeasure. Yao Yao is right. These are all hard to come by treasures. They must be stored carefully. Then she walked out of the courtyard with a flourish. It's still second uncle who is sensible. Then I won't disturb second uncle's family from counting their 120 chests of betrothal gifts anymore. Zili followed gleefully, laughing and joking. The feeling of a dog backed by its master is so satisfying. She immediately scolded him back. You're the dog. In the following days, Feng Yao continued to visit the ninth prince's manor regularly. The prince gently comforted, if it can't be cured, it can't be cured. I've been blind for 10 years. I've long gotten used to it. She retorted righteously. Ninth prince, don't lock yourself in the failure of 10 years ago. That wasn't your fault. You shouldn't blame yourself either. Li Yuan was rendered into silence by her words. Feng Yao promised with even more determination. Besides, I said I would cure you, so I will definitely cure you. Li Yuan was also moved by these words. In these 10 years, this is the first time someone has said it wasn't my fault. Even the chief steward was moved to tears. The princess consort may not be able to cultivate, but she is a good person. Feng Yao suddenly thought of a possibility. So, are there any empty rooms in the manor? I want to refine a primal origin pill. Li Yuan smiled, trying alchemy. She nodded eagerly in praise. It's quiet here, and the land is spacious. Her face also turned shy as she told the ninth prince. Besides, if I let second uncle's family know I'm trying alchemy, they might bother me. Li Yuan happily and generously ordered the chief steward to arrange it. Go prepare a room for third Miss Feng, and prepare 2 chests of alchemy ingredients. Yes, Feng Yao immediately bowed. Thank you, ninth prince. Under the ink-black sky, an explosion echoed throughout the ninth prince's manor. She rushed out from the smoke, coughing. I don't understand. Why did it turn out like this? Zili, at her side, kept worrying. Alchemy requires taking it step by step. Don't be too hasty. Feng Yao's face was soot black. It took a whole day to grasp the art of alchemy. It's still too slow. Zili sighed. You have a great talent for alchemy, you know? In his heart, he recalled the past. It's really infuriating how people differ. I remember following my master for a year and a half before I could refine a medicinal pill. Hearing the noise, Zili whipped around. It's the ninth prince and Commander Lu approaching. He spoke. Miss Feng, I heard a loud explosion just now. Is everything all right? Zili's face turned pale with fear, and he hastily hid. Not good. That brat is here again. I'm out of here. She stared blankly as he abandoned her. Zili, wasn't he just thrown out by him once? Why is he so afraid of the ninth prince? On the surface, she smiled shyly. I made a fool of myself in front of the ninth prince. I was a bit hasty just now, so a small accident occurred. Li Yuan nodded and at the same time invited her to stay. That's good. It's already dark. The night dew is heavy. How about Miss Feng stays in the manor for one night? What do you think? Third Miss Feng should stay. If you go back looking like this, you'll definitely be gossiped about. Feng Yao muttered in a daze. What look? In the fragrant bathroom, she finally stepped out into the main hall. Ninth Prince, I'm changed. Feng Yao was wearing an outfit 2 sizes too big for her. Commander Lu quietly reported the situation. Your Highness, it's all dragging on the floor. Li Yuan spoke shyly. There are no maids in the manor, so there are no women's clothes. We have been poor hosts to third Miss Feng. She shook her head, not minding. It's all right. I should still thank the ninth prince for not minding and lending me clothes. But this outfit was too long, causing Feng Yao to accidentally step on it. She stumbled directly forward, and her landing spot ended up being in Ji Li's lap. Feng Yao quickly became embarrassed and flustered. Feng Yao stood up and hurriedly explained, I didn't do it on purpose. It's just that this outfit is too big. Li Yuan was also understanding. It's all right. Then he ordered Cheng Jun to take her back to her room. Rest early. Quickly take third Miss Feng to the guest room. Yes, the moonlight illuminated the entire corridor. Cheng Jun spoke as they walked. Third Miss Feng, the ninth prince heard that you were asking to buy spirit tea at a shop yesterday. The prince happened to acquire a jar of tea by chance before, so he had someone bring it to the guest room for you. She smiled and thanked him profusely. Thank you, ninth prince. This time, Zili appeared right next to her. It seems he's very pleased with you. The next morning at the ninth prince's manor, Feng Yao adjusted her outfit. Suddenly, 2 unfamiliar maids appeared outside. Princess Consort, you're awake. The 2 girls stepped forward and introduced themselves one after another. Princess Consort, this servant is Chun Tao. I just arrived at the manor today. This servant is Chun Xing. I just arrived at the manor today. Both of them showed respect to Feng Yao. The prince has instructed us to attend to the princess consort, to help you wake up and change clothes. Please come this way, princess consort. Inside the room hung all sorts of jewelry, silk dresses, and finery. Not only was she gaping in astonishment, but even Zili had a nod in admiration. Has he fallen for you? Feng Yao used another excuse to deny it. I'm treating his eyes. He's thanking me. What's wrong with that? Then she pulled the curtain to shoo him away. All right, I have to change. You should get lost. Outside, the flowers were blooming in profusion, showing off their colors and fragrance. Her clear voice called out to Ji Li Yuan, Your Highness. Feng Yao appeared before him in a splendid outfit. The ninth prince asked with concern, Did you sleep well last night? She immediately curtsied in thanks. I slept very well. Thank you, Your Highness, for having me stay. I should be heading back now. But the ninth prince didn't let her go by herself. He spoke up, I'll take you back. In the carriage, the 2 sat opposite each other, making small talk. The world spreads rumors that the third miss of the Feng family is weak-willed, timid, and unable to cultivate. It seems that's not true. Feng Yao also smiled in response. The world spreads rumors that the ninth prince, Ji Li Yuan, has lost his power and suffered much humiliation. It seems that can't be believed either. The two of them each seemed to tacitly acknowledge each other. Outside, the personal maid had already lifted the curtain to announce, "Your Highness, we have arrived at the Feng Manor." Feng Yao slowly descended. Just as she looked up, she saw the scoundrel couple. Ji Zijun's eyes were full of infatuation when he saw his. "Beloved Yao Yao." Qing Yu rushed forward to reprimand. "Yao Yao, where did you go last night? Why didn't you come back all night? What has become of her decency?" Gossip immediately erupted. A woman not returning home at night. Third Miss Feng, wasn't she just rejected for marriage by His Majesty? She's already lost all face. What will she do after she gets married? Qing Yu criticized Feng Yao right in the middle of the crowd. "Yao Yao, whose carriage is this? You are now engaged to the ninth prince. You can't act recklessly anymore." She leaned closer to her ear and whispered, "The matter of you not returning home last night cannot be known by the ninth prince. Otherwise, the ninth prince will misunderstand, thinking you don't know how to conduct yourself." The crowd immediately became lively. Qing Yu then put on an innocent act. "Why are there so many people?" Feng Yao's heart tightened in discomfort. "Isn't it because of you?" Suddenly, Ji Zijun appeared and spoke up for her. "One cannot speak recklessly. Yao Yao is her younger sister." Qing Yu was startled, somewhat jealous. "Your Highness the Crown Prince." She began to tear up as if about to cry. Then a stream of fabricated words poured out without missing a beat. "I saw Yao Yao sneak out of the manor in the middle of the night with a strange man." The crowd instantly became gossip mongers. Even Feng Yao couldn't stand it anymore. Just lying like that, without even a script? Qing Yu even sobbed worriedly. "I must have seen wrong." Zijun was also at a loss for words. "Yao Yao Yu." Feng Yao wouldn't be bullied. She immediately retorted. "What did that man look like? Was he fat or thin, tall or short? Was he holding my hand, or were we walking one after the other, or walking side by side? Go on, make it up." She then bowed her head and fabricated a reason. "Because it was too dark, I couldn't see that back clearly. I just caught a glimpse." Even His Highness the Crown Prince began to question her like a prisoner. "Yao Yao, where did you really go last night? Is everything you said the truth?" Yao Yao sighed. "Ji Zijun, if you've never believed me, then don't ask so many questions." Zijun, being exposed, explained blankly. "Yao Yao, that's not what I meant." But to her, His Highness the Crown Prince had long ceased to be important. "It's all right. Your trust is not at all important to me." Just then, the person in the carriage spoke up to explain. "Second Miss Feng, last night, Yao Yao was with this prince the whole time." When Ji Li Yuan lifted the curtain, everyone was stunned. Ninth prince, ninth royal uncle. The crowd began to see the truth clearly. It's really the ninth prince. This is the ninth prince's carriage. Li Yuan frowned and continued. "It's just that when there were new clothes in the manor, you always chose first. In the end, Yao Yao didn't have many outfits, so this prince took Yao Yao to pick out some clothes. You, as Yao Yao's older sister, why would you slander her like that?" The crowd began to turn and blame Qing Yu. So third Miss Feng was with the ninth prince, not sneaking around with some wild man. Yet she goes and slanders her own younger sister. Second Miss Feng is really something. Knowing she had lost, she teared up and apologized. "I saw wrong last night. That woman just looked a bit like Yao Yao. I'm sorry, ninth prince." But Ji Li Yuan fundamentally did not accept it. "The one you should be apologizing to is not me." Qing Yu snorted coldly in her heart, not achieving her goal. She gritted her teeth and bowed to apologize. "Younger sister, I'm sorry." Just then, Ji Zijun approached and spoke in a low voice. "Yao Yao, what happened just now was my fault. I should have understood the situation first." But Feng Yao clearly did not want to talk to him. "Your Highness the Crown Prince, my engagement with you has long been dissolved. I ask that your Highness refrain from calling my name in the future." Then she took a step back, took the ninth prince's hand on the palanquin, and replied defiantly, "I'm afraid Li Yuan will get angry." Feng Yao supported Li Yuan's hand. He spoke up and questioned. "The crown prince sees me and doesn't even call me royal uncle?" Ji Zijun's heart was unwilling, but he still had to comply. "Royal uncle." Li Yuan frowned and reminded him. "And your royal aunt." Ji Zijun disagreed and protested. "Royal uncle and Yao Yao are not yet married. Calling Yao Yao royal aunt now seems a bit inappropriate." She scowled and retorted sharply, criticizing Zijun. "The crown prince has always called me by my name directly. I thought you didn't care about these worldly etiquettes. Royal aunt is something you'll have to call me sooner or later. Your Highness the Crown Prince should get used to it. No fun is complete without Qing Yu." She spoke up and called, "Yao Yao, don't be so disrespectful to Crown Prince brother. I'll apologize to you. That should be enough." From within the Feng Manor, a stern voice rang out. "No need to apologize." Yu Qing stepped out to question his niece. Feng Yao, you didn't return home at night, and you still have the face to scold Yuer. Since when did you become so arrogant and disrespectful? She immediately rushed into her mother's arms and acted spoiled. Mother, Yuera. Yu Chung stepped forward and saluted the crown prince. I have failed to teach my child properly, offending the crown prince. I beg the crown prince's forgiveness. The crown prince turned to greet him. Lord Feng, Qing Yu's mother chimed in, adding fuel to the fire. My lord, I think she's relying on her status as the 9th princess consort. She no longer has any regard for us. Feng Yao was annoyed. The whole family is ganging up now? The 9th prince angrily spoke up for her. If you already know that Yao Yao is the future 9th princess consort, yet you are still so disrespectful. Lord Feng, Madam Feng, do you still have any regard for me, this prince? Yu Chung was stunned, not knowing how to explain. Your Highness, the 9th prince spoke up in her defense. Yesterday, the wound on this prince's leg flared up, causing unbearable pain. Yao Yao stayed at the manor to take care of me with great dedication, but she did not overstep any boundaries. It's one thing for outsiders not to believe it, but even the Feng family, why does it seem like you are deliberately outside the manor, spouting nonsense to slander Yao Yao? Zili also felt upset for her. If my power was still here, I could also stand up for you like this. The 9th prince shouted, Are you Yao Yao's relatives or her enemies? Everyone around was buzzing with discussion. Jili Yuan protected Yao Yao. It seems that in the manor, she is not only suppressed in matters of clothing and jewelry. From now on, I will dispatch 10 shadow guards to secretly protect her. Feng Yao smiled and nodded eagerly. With someone here, no one will dare to bully me. The prince scoffed. Perhaps if someone is looking to die, we should grant their wish. The people of the Feng family were threatened, and every one of them's face darkened. His face. Another explosion in a row at the 9th prince's manor. Chung Jun paced back and forth, muttering. The princess consort's temperament is truly stubborn. To fail so many times and still not give up, if we let her keep causing explosions, she'll blow up the entire manor soon. The chief steward, however, saw her effort. The princess consort was in the alchemy room for 3 watches before the furnace exploded. This old servant didn't hear anything, and it felt a bit strange. Ji Liyuan also noticed that clear effort. On the first day, she refined pills. The furnace exploded 16 times, but after only 4 days, it only exploded 5 times. She has improved very quickly and is also very smart. Commander Liu, unable to contain his jealousy, said, Master, only you would indulge her like this. If this continues, all the medicinal herbs in the manor's storehouse will be burned up by her. The chief steward immediately scolded him. The prince hasn't smiled in 10 years. What's the cost of a few medicinal herbs? As long as the prince is happy, that's all that matters. Scolded, Chung Jun became frightened. I was wrong. I'll go instruct the storehouse to buy more medicinal herbs in a moment. A soft sound came from inside the room, finally followed by Feng Yao's cheer. Success. Zili, who was awakened, also peeked out in alarm. It's a success. Her face smudged with soot. She counted the pills in her hand. 3, 4, so a total of 5 pills. Feng Yao ran over to show off. Look, he gasped in astonishment. Self-taught without a master. To think you refined pills in just a few days and produced 5 pills in the first batch. You truly are a born alchemist. But she humbly explained, this is the most basic energy pill, so it was very easy. In the medical books my mother left me, the steps for refining medicinal pills are recorded in great detail. I've read each book over 100 times. But Zili still nodded with a look of amazement. The records in books and actual practice are 2 different concepts. You are truly a genius in alchemy. Her heart, however, was troubled by another matter. But for an alchemy genius like me, if I want to refine the medicinal pill to treat Li Yuan's eyes, I'm afraid it won't be easy. Seeing her sigh in frustration, Zili also felt sad. Feng Yao, covered in soot, held the bottle of pills with determination. I must work even harder. Lounging on the boat, Feng Yao praised. These grapes are so sweet. Li Yuan indulged her, letting her eat whatever she liked. There's still plenty at home. If you like them, feel free to have as many as you want. Suddenly, an announcement rang out. Master, a flower boat is approaching. It seems His Highness the Crown Prince and the 5th Prince are on it. She exclaimed in annoyance. Why do I run into them even out here? Li Yuan sipped his tea and gave a light command. Lower the curtain. Let's pretend we never saw them. Immediately, the servants followed the order, lowering the curtain with a swish. The 2 boats were now drawing closer to each other. On the flower boat, they were gossiping animatedly. I heard Feng Yao runs to the 9th Prince's manor every day and doesn't return until nightfall. For an unmarried woman to be so wanton is truly surprising. To put it nicely, the engagement was canceled, but wasn't she actually abandoned by the crown prince? I heard Feng Yao is a calamitous star who brings misfortune to her parents and relatives and would only implicate His Highness the Crown Prince. Compared to her, the second Miss Feng is gentle, virtuous, and kind, the type of woman any gentleman would want to marry. Hearing this, Feng Yao exclaimed angrily, "Are they holding a group session to curse me?" A servant immediately stepped forward and asked, "Master, do you need your subordinate to go teach them a lesson?" Her face darkened as she replied, "No need. If I have to care about what these petty people say and do all the time, wouldn't life be exhausting? Arguing with them would only spoil the mood." Li Yuan held his teacup with a stern face, saying nothing. Suddenly, strong waves churned in the river. The prince's flower boat began to rock violently. They said to each other in fear, "What's happening? Why is the boat shaking so hard?" Cheng Jun looked over and exclaimed in surprise, "Master, it seems large waves have appeared on their side." Feng Yao asked Zili worriedly, "What is this, Zili?" Suddenly, a black shadow from under the water flipped their boat, and the entire group fell into the water. They screamed loudly, "Help, save us!" A black shape appeared from under the water. It grabbed Feng Qinghua tightly, causing her to scream in terror. The crown prince rushed over worriedly. "Where?" A moment later, the crown prince's group was rescued. What happened? Why did such large waves suddenly appear out of nowhere? It seems only that boat had trouble. I wonder if a monster is causing chaos. It seems that was the boat of His Highness the Crown Prince and the second Miss Feng. Everyone else is fine. A while later, the ninth prince's boat docked at the shore. Feng Yao was deep in thought. That dragon tail just now was Zili. He had such a hard time escaping the black dragon pool. Isn't he afraid of being discovered by his enemies? How reckless. She looked down at her glowing arm. "Zili, what are you doing? Be careful, or you'll be sealed by your enemies again." Into that black dragon pool. Zili spoke to her grimly. "I was just teaching those foul-mouthed people a lesson. Let's see if they dare to do it again. If you didn't want to take revenge yourself, I would have killed Feng Qinghua long ago." At this moment, the crown prince carried Feng Qinghua and jumped onto the shore. Feng Yao called out, "Your Highness the Crown Prince." He turned around in surprise. "Yao Yao, why are you here? Royal Uncle is here too. Could it be that you two were also?" Feng Yao looked at him and reminded him in a stern voice, "Your Highness the Crown Prince. Your Highness the Crown Prince. If you delay any longer, I'm afraid the Crown Princess Consort's face will be ruined." Li Yuan also spoke up to remind him. Second Miss Feng's consciousness is fading. The Crown Prince should take her for treatment first. If you wait too long, I'm afraid it won't just be a ruined face. At this time, Feng Qingyue's face was severely injured. The crown prince looked at her with concern. A crash was heard as a bowl shattered. Qingyue criticized them. "Impossible, a bunch of quack doctors." Her mother held her face and cried, while she shouted angrily, "If you can't heal my face, I'll have you all beheaded." The old imperial physician's face hardened with difficulty. "Second madam, I cannot treat your daughter's condition, but she has no right to use private execution to kill people." Then he turned and left, regardless of how Qingyue's mother pleaded. "Imperial physician Su, please stay and think of a way. I shall take my leave." Qingyue's mother watched them leave, her heart filled with despair. She turned back to scold her daughter. "How many times have I told you to rein in your temper? Why won't you listen? The imperial physicians have left. Who will treat your injuries now?" Qingyue fell down, crying, "They can't even treat this small wound. They're just quacks. I don't want my face to be ruined." Feng Yao chose the right moment to enter. She smiled and said, "It seems I've arrived at the right time." "Older sister." The woman blocked the door and cursed. "What are you doing here? Did you come to kick us while we're down? Get out now." But she replied with a clear laugh, "I came to inquire about my older sister's health." Qingyue scowled unhappily. "You deliberately came to laugh at me, didn't you?" But she shook her head and presented a bottle of medicine. "Older sister, I specially brought medicine for you." The two of them glanced at each other with suspicion. Feng Yao's voice rang out again, twisting into their hearts. "Aunt, you know my older sister is the person I care about most. I've cared for her since we were little. The moment my sister fell ill, I came to donate blood, afraid she would die from her illness." Qingyue's mother frowned and blamed her. "Very well, so you've come to collect a debt. You volunteered back then. We didn't force you." But Feng Yao walked inside, ignoring those attacking words. "Don't worry, I didn't come today to kick you while you're down." She brought the medicine to the bedside herself. This is a face-changing pill. I asked the ninth prince to have someone buy it. No matter the scar, as long as you use it consistently for half a year, it will heal completely, leaving no trace. The mother didn't forget to remind her daughter, "Beware, be careful, she's poisoned it." But she just shrugged nonchalantly and replied, "Don't worry, who would come in so openly to poison someone like this?" With that, Qingwei directly snatched the medicine. But when she opened it, she was stunned in disbelief. Why is there only one pill here? Having achieved her goal, Feng Yao named a high price. There's only one pill for you to use first. The ninth prince could only buy one of these pills. How about 20,000 taels? Qingyue's mother's eyes widened in shock. 20,000 taels for one pill. To take it for half a year, why don't you just go rob someone? She had to grit her teeth and endure. "Mother, if it really works, we must buy it even if it's 200,000 taels." The next day, Zili recalled the incident with endless amusement. 20,000 for one pill, you really know how to set a price. Feng Yao understood her all too well. She explained, "That older sister of mine will do anything for her face." She slowly walked towards Elder Yang's medicine shop. She continued speaking to Zili. "Anyway, the imperial physicians have already given up on treatment. She can only pin her hopes on that pill of mine." Zili also nodded in agreement. Half a year later, when your cultivation is more stable and you're strong enough to fight Feng Qingwei, everything will become easy. Outside the hall, a disciple was already waiting. He invited her cheerfully. "Miss, our president has arrived." Inside the room filled with medicinal smoke, Feng Yao happily showed Elder Yang. "These are the energy pills and healing pills I refined, and also origin consolidating pills." Elder Yang's face lit up with praise. "Superior quality, good pills, good pills." Currently, the market price for an energy pill is 10,000 taels. An origin consolidating healing pill is a bit more expensive than an energy pill. You can buy one for 3,000 taels. If we have a long-term partnership, I will only charge you a fraction of the cost. How about it? She nodded eagerly in agreement. It was very fair. Then, Feng Yao made another request. "In here is the face-changing pill I created. The price is set at 10,000 taels per pill. Please sell it as well. Sell it all together." But Elder Yang was a bit hesitant. A face-changing pill, he had never heard of it before. This price of 10,000 taels. If the young lady tells me the pill's effects, I will do my best to promote it, but I can't guarantee whether it can be sold. She had already planned her moves and smiled encouragingly. "Don't worry, you won't need to put much effort. Just wait for someone to come to the Spirit Merchant Guild to inquire about the face-changing pill, and even if it's 50,000 taels, she will buy them all." Feng Yao returned to treat the ninth prince. "A lot of the toxins have been expelled, but to stand up again, we must find the broken dragon bone grass." Commander Lu's face was full of worry. "I heard that herb only appears once every 1,000 years. She removed the acupuncture needles and said with determination, "As long as it exists in this world, there will always be a way to find it." Li Yuan, who had been silent until now, suddenly asked, "Yao Yao, have you really thought it through? Wanting to marry a cripple like me?" Her gaze softened as she spoke directly to the ninth prince. "When His Majesty decreed the marriage, I couldn't think of anything, so agreeing to it all was a temporary plan. But these past few days together have been very comfortable. This kind of peaceful life is quite good. Don't worry, I will take good care of you." Li Yuan smiled with satisfaction, but still had to appear calm. "I have Cheng Jun and the others to take care of me. That's enough." Cheng Jun, being credited, proudly puffed out his chest. Feng Yao, wanting to one-up him, cleared her throat. "Then I won't just take care of you, I will also cure you." Li Yuan shook his head and shared his thoughts. "Your talent for alchemy is very good. After some time, you will surely stand at the pinnacle of this continent. You just need to go do the things you want to do. The ninth prince's manor will absolutely not become a cage that binds you." The next day, in the backyard of the Merchant Guild, Elder Yang appeared respectfully. "Miss Feng, you've been waiting long. The money from selling the pills has all been stored in your storage ring." As she turned, Feng Yao asked, "Elder Yang, what is that stone tablet?" Elder Yang said, and briefly introduced it. "That is a soul testing stone. To test your soul, you pour your soul power into the soul testing stone. To test your mental power, you use your mental will to attack the soul testing stone." Elder Yang also invited Feng Yao. "Miss Feng, if you're interested, you can. Give it a try." She didn't refuse, stepping forward to touch it all over, pouring her soul power in. Feng Yao eagerly placed her hand on the magic Bagua circle. "Let's just try it first." Suddenly, the soul testing stone lit up with a magic formation. Elder Yang stood outside, observing in astonishment. "It's actually purple." She didn't understand and muttered to herself, "Dark purple. Is purple very powerful? I haven't even used my full strength yet." Zili was also speechless. Purple is the highest level of soul power known on this continent. Elder Yang spoke up again, inviting her, Miss Feng. Since you're here, why not test your mental power as well? She nodded in agreement. All right. Feng Yao took a few steps forward, muttering in her mind, mental power. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Both she and Elder Yang stared blankly. She pointed worriedly. Elder Yang, how much is this soul-testing stone? I'll pay for it. Elder Yang shook his head and refused. Miss, you don't need to worry. He immediately ordered his men to bring another one. Soul-testing stones are easy to come by, but geniuses are rare. If this one can't test it, this old man still has another. Elder Yang continued to push her. Miss Feng, please test it again. Let's keep testing until we get a result. But each time, the soul-testing stone shattered. So many soul-testing stones were now in a heap of rubble. She awkwardly refused Elder Yang. Elder Yang, maybe we should stop testing. Another soul-testing stone was brought out. This time, it was yellow. Elder Yang was unexpectedly shocked and exclaimed, Yellow? I can't believe it's yellow. Immortal grade mental power. Zili, seeing Feng Yao's true strength, asked softly, why not use your full power? This huge, soul-testing stone should be able to withstand your mental power. Elder Yang's eyes lit up as he praised her even more. Those who possess immortal-grade mental power are all great masters of our time. As for God-grade, that has only ever appeared in legends. Zili grinned. If you had used your full power, you could have let him see a living God-grade master. But Feng Yao didn't think so. That would bring a lot of trouble. After the mental power test, Elder Yang was willing to hand over a precious item. Miss Feng, this is the esteemed guest token of our Spirit Merchant Guild. Please take it. As long as you wear this ring, no matter where you go, you can enjoy the highest treatment at any place with a Spirit Merchant Guild. She smiled and accepted it. Thank you, Elder Yang. Elder Yang's heart was filled with excitement as he prepared to turn and leave. I wonder which sect or family such an outstanding young lady comes from. I must quickly send a message to the headquarters. Feng Yao suddenly stopped Elder Yang to ask something. That's right, Elder Yang, I wonder if you've ever heard of a medicinal herb called broken dragonbone grass? He stroked his chin, thought for a moment, then replied, broken dragonbone grass, because it likes the cold. It usually grows in extremely cold places. The Han Snow Mountain of the Northern Realm might have it. She looked into the distance with anticipation. Han Snow Mountain. Seeing her anticipation, Elder Yang offered a helpful suggestion. Miss Feng, if you need the broken dragonbone grass, I can help you send a message to the headquarters. Our Spirit Merchant Guild will search for it outside. You just need to offer a price to buy it. Feng Yao's face lit up with joy as she clapped her hands. That's great. Then I'll have to trouble you, Elder Yang. The two of them had just left the Merchant Guild when they saw a crowd of disciples pulling each other to get a look inside. What's that noise inside? The Spirit Merchant Guild's building collapsed. I heard they tested and found yellow mental power. I heard someone was testing. They destroyed several soul-testing stones in a row. Someone in the group suddenly shouted, the president is out. They quickly swarmed around to ask questions. President, may I ask if it's true that immortal-grade mental power was detected? Elder Yang tried to calm the crowd. Everyone, please make way. But they kept pressing forward. Is it that Miss Luo? President, please share your opinion. I heard 100 soul-testing stones were broken. Elder Yang shook his head and refused outright. We have nothing to say about this matter. At this moment, Ji Zijuan also walked over. Is this the legendary Miss Feng who refines and sells pills? The crowd parted on both sides to make way. The Crown Prince, it really is His Highness the Crown Prince. Elder Yang's face showed surprise. Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Fortunately, Feng Yao was wearing a hat that concealed her face. Why is Ji Zijuan here? Zili was also displeased and cursed. He's like a dog. He comes as soon as he catches a scent. Then Zili disappeared. Ji Zijuan stepped forward and made a generous offer. Miss Feng, I have come to invite you to enter the palace and serve as the royal alchemist of the Northern Yin Kingdom. But she pulled her hat down further, avoiding him. I'm not interested. Ji Zijuan offered even better conditions to entice her. Miss Feng, the terms are whatever you wish. As long as my royal family can satisfy them, we will definitely provide our full support. You can enter and leave the imperial palace at any time, and my royal family can give you all the cultivation resources you need. Abundant medicinal herbs for alchemy. Elder Yang also glanced over discreetly to gauge her intentions. Miss Feng, These conditions are extremely generous. Perhaps you could consider it? Feng Yao nodded slightly. All right, however, if the royal family has any intention of controlling me, then I can only leave. After that, Ji Zijuan handed over a token. This is my personal token. With this token, you can freely enter and exit the imperial palace. Zijuan directly handed it to the masked woman. Miss Feng, I, Ji Zijuan, swear that I will absolutely not use my power to force or control you. Everyone present here can bear witness. Returning to the Ninth Prince's manor, Feng Yao was called out to as soon as she stepped inside Yao Yao. She walked over happily to greet him. Li Yuan, did you just get back? Li Yuan nodded. I went to buy some sponge cake and water chestnut cake for you. Feng Yao took them and sniffed. It smells so good. Thank you. She didn't forget to share her story. All right, I went to the Spirit Merchant Guild just now. I met Ji Zijuan, and he even invited me to be an alchemist. Then she took over from Zijuan, pushing the wheelchair for a stroll. He recognized you? Feng Yao shook her head and replied no. He invited Miss Feng Wutian to be the royal family's alchemist, not to meet Feng Yao. These days of refining pills have wasted a lot of the Ninth Prince's manor's medicinal herbs. Ji Zijuan said the palace would provide the alchemist with abundant cultivation resources, and I can't just bring disaster upon you alone, so I agreed. Li Yuan was also worried, but if your identity is exposed. She shook her head vigorously. Even if my identity is exposed, I absolutely won't be in danger. The Northern Yin Kingdom is too short on alchemists. You just wait for me to get some good things from Ji Zijuan to supplement you. But Li Yuan said, the Ninth Prince's manor's treasury is not lacking these things. She replied playfully, only a fool wouldn't take free things. Wait until your injuries are better. Cultivating again will consume a lot of medicinal herbs. All right, you're right. Chung Jun, still standing stiffly like a coat rack, listened as the chief steward wiped his tears. It seems there will be a little prince and a little princess next year. A few days later, two maids were already waiting outside the Joa gate to welcome her. Congratulations on coming out of seclusion, princess consort. Would the princess consort like to dine first or bathe first? Her face was completely smudged, but she refused all their suggestions. Thank you. I'm not hungry yet. I'm going to see the Ninth Prince first. As soon as Feng Yao stepped out the door, Chun Tao announced cheerfully, the Ninth Prince has been waiting for you since early this morning. Upon hearing the footsteps, Ji Liyuan breathed a sigh of relief. I saw you had been in seclusion for 10 days and still hadn't come out, so I was a little worried. But Chun Tao whispered into her ear, actually, the prince waited outside your door every day until nightfall before leaving. The ring on Feng Yao's hand suddenly glowed. A series of pills flew out from it in a flurry. Cheng Jun asked blankly, Princess Consort, what are these? She briefly introduced them. These are the 200 marrow cleansing pills I've been refining for the past few days. The prince and I will each take half. Commander Liu was unexpectedly shocked. In just 10 days, the princess consort has refined 200 marrow cleansing pills. Ji Liyuan also praised her, 20 pills a day. I'm afraid even the pill king couldn't do that. But Feng Yao replied happily, just luck. Consider these pills as payment for borrowing your place in medicinal herbs. Hearing these words, Li Yuan felt a bit unhappy in his heart. Why do you need to be so formal between us? Feng Yao, still thinking simply, continued, if you don't need them, don't your subordinates need them? You sent the Shadow Division to protect me, so consider this a small thank you gift from me to them. One marrow cleansing pill can be sold for 100,000 gold. This thank you gift from the princess consort is not small. Cheng Jun held a pile of pills and said to her respectfully, sooner or later, we'll be one family. Why bother keeping score over this? Having been there for a while, Feng Yao decided to return. I have to go back to the Feng Manor for a trip. I'll come back tomorrow to give the Ninth Prince acupuncture. At the Feng Manor, only then did Feng Yao see Zili appear. Why didn't you show yourself at the Ninth Prince's manor? Zili replied quietly, I was afraid of disturbing your emotional exchange. She glanced at him, feeling a little unhappy. Because you weren't paying attention, you slammed right into someone. Xingbai angrily shouted, are you blind? How dare you bump into this young master? She retorted angrily, who are you, strutting around so arrogantly in someone else's manor? Hearing this, Xingbai turned on his flirtatious charm. Xingbai pressed closer, speaking sweet words to entice her. Beautiful, which courtyard are you made from? This young master won't hold it against you. If you help this young master soothe the heart you bumped into. Xingbai's hand also began to wander, but she grabbed it and directly twisted it in one motion. Then Feng Yao threw Xingbai to the ground. She didn't hesitate to kick him into a nearby bush. Xingbai crawled out, clutching his injury. You dare to hit this young master. Two conflicting thoughts ran through her mind. If I use my soul power now, the secret I've been hiding will be exposed. But Zeely considered it seriously. If you don't use it, you'll be beaten to death by him. I'll help you deal with him. Hearing this, Feng Yao disagreed. Don't. You caused a disturbance before. Your vital energy hasn't recovered. Let the Ninth Prince's martial guards and death warriors handle it. As expected, Xingbai immediately used his mental power, intending to strike her down. Stinking brat, die. A familiar arm reached out to block it. It was the Crown Prince, Ji Zijuan. Xingbai hadn't even registered what happened. He was kicked and sent tumbling into the bushes again. Xingbai, furious, used all his vocabulary to curse. You stinking brat, you dare to hit me. I see you're tired of living. You two just wait. I won't let this matter go so easily. Wait until I report back to the family head. He'll get justice for me. But Ji Zijuan just sneered threateningly. Go ahead. No matter who you are, just come find me. Ji Zijuan. Only then did Xingbai tremble with fear. Ji, the crown prince of the Baiyuan kingdom, Ji Zijuan. Xingbai's expression softened by half, but he was still aggressive. So it's my cousin-in-law. You've arrived at just the right time. Cousin-in-law, come and judge whether she, who broke my arm, should apologize to me or not. Ji Zijuan still stood up to protect her completely, but I clearly saw you bump into Yao Yao first. Xingbai was clearly stunned. Yao Yao. A suspicion began to form in Xingbai's mind. The useless third miss of the Feng Manor, Ji Zijuan's former fiancée. Xingbai took the opportunity to threaten again. Cousin-in-law, you hasn't even married into the family yet, and you're already being so intimate with another woman. If word of this gets out, I'm afraid it won't be good for your reputation. Ji Zijuan could only frown and concede. I will return to the palace and send an imperial physician to treat you. Furthermore, I will send a generous gift as compensation. Let's leave this matter at that. Zijuan also had his own calculations. The Liu family is one of the 4 great families in Mu City. If I get into a conflict with him because of Yao Yao, my imperial father will surely blame me. It's not worth it. Hearing these satisfying words, Xingbai decided to drop the matter. If my cousin-in-law is this sincere, then I'm not one to press the issue when I have the upper hand. Let's handle it this way. Zijuan nodded. All right, I'll take my leave. From a distance, Zeely acknowledged Zijuan for the first time. I can't believe this scumbag is actually useful for once. Thanks to him, this didn't blow up. Zijuan turned back to ask with concern, Yao Yao, are you all right? Zijuan even intimately grabbed Feng Yao's wrist. Are you hurt anywhere? She immediately flung his hand away. Your Highness the Crown Prince, please have some self-respect. Zijuan questioned her angrily. Feng Yao, why do you always speak to me with this attitude? Feng Yao exposed his two-faced nature. Your Highness the Crown Prince, you looked down on me for being unable to cultivate and broke off our engagement to find someone new. Do you expect me to thank you for that? Zijuan's gaze became even more lingering and infatuated. I had no choice. Don't resent me. Feng Yao didn't want to be near him for another moment. I hold no resentment towards you. I hope you won't bother me in the future. After that, she turned and left abruptly. You should understand, my royal aunt no longer loves you anymore. Watching Feng Yao's figure recede, Zijuan stubbornly thought to himself, we grew up together, childhood sweethearts. I don't believe you don't love me anymore. I will definitely make Father Emperor annul your engagement to royal uncle. Just as she returned, her mother and Qingwei came to find her. Yao Yao, she acted coldly. Aunt and older sister, what brings you here to find me? The woman smiled and asked gently, the Huan Yin pill you gave your older sister last time. I wonder if you have any more? Feng Yao smiled calmly and replied, of course I do. I already said it last time, 20,000 per pill. But the woman's face was full of anxiety, wanting her to reconsider. The effect of the Huan Yin pill is very good, but it needs to be used for half a year. Isn't this price a bit too expensive? She turned and hinted, hasn't Lu Xingbai already arrived from Imo City? He must have brought some healing pills. His pills are useless. The mother and daughter took turns showering her with praise as if they wanted a red envelope. Yao Yao, the pills cousin brought, I ate a whole bunch, but they had no effect. Those pills can't compare to the Huan Yin pill. Yao Yao, Yuer is your older sister. Just give Yuer a few bottles. Zeely showed his disdain. This mother and daughter are so thick-skinned. Just then, Lu Xingbai arrived with a group of people to settle the score. Feng Yao, Xingbai yelled, Ji Zijuan isn't here to stand up for you now. You'd better kneel down and apologize obediently. Qingwei and her mother were stunned. Cousin Xingbai, the two of them hurriedly pretended to stand up for her. Xingbai, why did you bring so many people? Qingwei also chimed in. Cousin, Yao Yao is my younger sister. What happened to make you act like this? Xingbai replied angrily. She ambushed me and even broke my arm. Qingwei tried to persuade him in a low voice. Yao Yao can't cultivate. She couldn't possibly have that kind of power. Could there be a misunderstanding? Xingbai scolded her angrily. Whose side are you on? Fine, you don't have to kneel. How about you come and serve me for a month instead? My arm is injured after all. Qingyue's expression shifted as she weighed her options. The medicine my cousin brought has no effect at all. Right now, my only hope is the Huan Yin pill. If I offend Feng Yao, she knew her chance had come and slowly stood up. My dear older sister, I can give you a bottle of the Huan Yin pill, and I can also tell you where to buy it. Xingbai frowned in confusion. Huan Yin pill? Qingwei quickly urged Feng Yao to speak. What's the condition? She took out a few bottles of pills. She smirked and stated her strange condition. Help me kick this lecher Lu Xingbai out of the Feng residence. Lu Xingbai placed a hand on Qingyue's shoulder, his face grim. I think you're delusional. You want to drive a wedge between us cousins with a few worthless pills? She gritted her teeth, placed her hand on Xingbai's, and pushed it down. Cousin. Her attitude changed in an instant. Cousin, it was you who was rude to Yao Yao in the first place. You should leave now. Xingbai's eyes widened in astonishment. What? Qingwei, on the verge of tears, pleaded for Xingbai's understanding. Cousin, wait until I get what I need, and I'll make it up to you. Just consider it helping me this once. Don't make things difficult for me. Xingbai, filled with jealousy, gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. Xingbai turned and left without a second glance. I couldn't care less about the etiquette of your Feng residence. Let's go. Qingyue's mother chased after him, trying to placate him. Good nephew, calm down. Don't stoop to your cousin's level. She's just a foolish child. At this moment, Feng Yao pushed the bottle of pills into her hand and leisurely drank her tea. The Huan Yin pill is sold by the Star Commerce Guild. Older sister can go take a look. On the surface, Qingwei smiled gratefully. Thank you, younger sister. After your older sister and brother Crown Prince are married, I will definitely reward you handsomely. Inside, she was like a venomous snake. Once the scar on my face is healed, I'll settle the score with you. Outside on the street, Feng Yao had stopped at a jewelry shop. Li had been observing everything for her. Girl, someone is following you. She closed her eyes and murmured back. Do you know who it is? Li shook his head. I don't know. He's using a magic treasure to hide his tracks, but with his power, I could kill him with a single breath. Suddenly, she turned and left. The shopkeeper hurriedly tried to stop her. Miss, there are still other styles for you to look at. Afterwards, the shopkeeper grumbled in annoyance, browsing and browsing, but in the end, buying nothing. She had only taken a few steps when someone started following her silently. He followed her closely to an alleyway. He began to look down on Feng Yao. I was worried about how to strike with so many people on the street. I didn't think she'd walk right in her own death. As soon as she entered the alley, she turned around to call his bluff. I was just worrying about how to strike with so many people on the street. I didn't think you'd actually follow me here to your death. He was visibly surprised. You knew I was following you? Did Lu Xingbai send you? He sneered, giving her two choices. It's good that you know. Will you come with me willingly, or do you want me to make a move? At first, Feng Yao wanted to reason with him. I am the future 9th princess consort. If you touch me, you will be making an enemy of the 9th prince's residence in the Northian nation. But he paid her no mind and cursed it aloud. In front of the 4 great families of Mo City, even the Northian nation wouldn't dare to act recklessly, let alone a crippled prince. My Lu family thinks even less of him. Hearing him curse Ji Liyuan, she angrily threw her darts to teach him a lesson. How insolent. Before he could dodge, he was hit by 3 fatal strikes. What? He clutched his chest in pain. Aren't you a good-for-nothing who can't cultivate? At that moment, she called out sharply, Zili. He materialized from behind and bit his neck. Then Feng Yao used this to threaten him. You've been poisoned. If you don't want to die, you must obediently follow my arrangements. Of course, don't even think about trying to detoxify it. Without my antidote, you will suffer for 7 days before you die. Whether you live or die, think it over carefully and then come find me. Next, she put on a mask and headed to the Commerce Guild. Go ask Elder Yang how the search for the herbs is going. Zili grumbled unhappily in her ear. You're not even married yet, and you're thinking about him all day long. At the Commerce Guild, Elder Yang came out to greet her cheerfully. Alchemist Feng Yao was startled and quickly stopped him. Elder Yang, you could just call me by my name, Wu Tian. Your status and reputation are high. I am not worthy of such an address. Elder Yang also replied with a kind smile. In that case, I won't refuse. I'll just call you Young Feng. With that, Elder Yang opened a silk line box. Young Feng, the item you asked me to find last time, I have exchanged it for you. This dragon beard grass was purchased by the Star Commerce Guild in Yu Province for 20,000 taels of gold. The pills you sold were just enough to cover the cost. She then handed over a gift box. This bottle of marrow cleansing pills is a thank you gift. Elder Yang looked at the precious item in front of him in astonishment. Marrow cleansing pills. Feng Yao nodded. There are 2 pills inside. One is for you, Elder Yang, and the other is for the Star Commerce Guild to auction off in 3 days. Elder Yang nodded, agreeing to her thorough arrangements. All right, I'll go arrange this matter. She nodded her farewell. I've troubled you. I'll be heading back now. Elder Yang smiled and waved. Take care. In his heart, Elder Yang admired this young woman's abilities. This young Feng's talent for alchemy is too astonishing. She also has golden spiritual power and a purple spirit soul. I believe it won't be long before she can stand at the pinnacle of the continent. The person sent by Lu Xingbai was Lu Zhan. He knocked on Feng Yao's door and called out, "Third Miss Feng." Inside her room, she was reading a book. Hearing him, she smiled and asked, "Have you thought it through?" He replied, "I agreed to follow Third Miss Feng's orders. I only asked that Third Miss Feng give me the antidote first." She closed the book, placed it on the table, and replied, "All right." Then she went to open the door. He knelt down to pay his respects to her. She threw half a pill to him and said, "I'll give you half first. If Lu Xingbai has any plans, you must tell me." He hurriedly snatched it. "Thank you, Third Miss Feng." And he swallowed it in one gulp. He said, Lu Xingbai will make his move tonight. He's meeting with a group of villains outside the West City. He wants to put a bounty on your head. Mississippi Zili warned from side. Be careful he's not colluding with Lu Xingbai. She crossed her arms and said with a smile, "If that's the case, we'll use his own plan against him. You can capture me and take me to claim the reward." Hearing her words, he was startled. After that, he led Feng Yao to a place. "Miss Feng, it's just ahead." She nodded and replied, Immediately after, Lu Xingbai appeared and shouted, "Feng Yao, you've fallen into my trap." From behind the bushes, Lu Xingbai's men appeared with swords in hand, surrounding Feng Yao and Lu Zhan. "You actually thought you could bribe Lu Zhan? How utterly ridiculous." Hearing this, Feng Yao turned to him with a frown and asked, "You don't want the antidote anymore?" He said resentfully, "After I kill you, it won't be too late to find the antidote on your body." Hearing this, she sighed. "But the half pill you just took was actually poison, I'm afraid." Hearing this, he was startled. "The pill you gave me just now is poison?" She said nonchalantly, "How could I trust a dog that has forgotten its master? A despicable person like you. How could you truly work for me?" As soon as she finished speaking, Lu Zhan collapsed, clutching his throat and retching. Lu Xingbai pointed at her and ordered, "Seize her for me." Immediately, his men rushed forward to attack Feng Yao, but she nimbly dodged, countering and striking back at each one. Then she took down the entire group. Lu Xingbai was startled when he saw this. Then he cursed angrily, "A bunch of good-for-nothings. What's the use of raising you all? You can't even capture an ordinary person without a dantian." As soon as Feng Yao heard him, she frowned. She released her power, startling him. "Spirit soul power. Aren't you a good-for-nothing who can't cultivate? Why do you have spirit soul power?" She smiled and replied, "Take a guess." Lu Xingbai took out his whip and said, "I heard that no one who falls into the Black Dragon Pool has ever come out alive. It seems the Black Dragon Pool allowed you to cultivate again. How did you cultivate? As long as you tell me, I'll let you live." She smiled. "You want to play for real, do you?" She summoned her sword. "You're the one who should be thinking about how to stay alive." Lu Xingbai swung his skeleton-made sword towards her. She immediately used her sword to block a blow from him. The force of the impact pushed them both back. Then they continued to swing their swords. Lu Xingbai represented the power of a tiger, while Feng Yao represented the power of a phoenix. Both sides were extremely powerful, but Feng Yao was stronger. She launched an attack at the fierce tiger, severely injuring Lu Xingbai, who collapsed and spat out a mouthful of blood. He knelt on the ground and said, "I actually lost to a good-for-nothing like you." Feng Yao walked closer, covered in sweat, but smiling triumphantly. "Fortunately, your Lu family used a dark art to steal my immortal bone for Feng Yuqing, which gave me the chance to regenerate my dantian and continue to cultivate." At this moment, Zili approached her and reminded her, "Be careful, his spiritual energy is still very abundant." She immediately raised her sword and stabbed Lu Xingbai in the chest, continuing, "This one sword strike is my thank you gift to the Lu family." Lu Xingbai asked in shock, You really dare?" "Damn it." He reached out and grabbed her arm tightly. His whole body swelled up as he said, "If I'm going to die, I'm taking you with me. You'll die with me." Zili warned anxiously, "This is bad. He's going to self-destruct." Hearing this, Feng Yao gritted her teeth. At this moment, a group of masked people appeared and rushed towards Lu Xingbai, knocking him down and pushing him away from Feng Yao. They pulled him down to one side. Then the two of them turned to Feng Yao respectfully. "Third Miss Feng, we are death warriors sent by His Highness. Third Miss Feng, you must leave quickly." Hearing this, Feng Yao quickly turned and ran in the opposite direction from Lu Xingbai. Just as they ran, Lu Xingbai's self-destruction detonated. The explosion sent rocks and debris flying everywhere. Feng Yao was thrown by the force of the blast, letting out a scream as she fell. Fortunately, Ji Liyuan rushed over and caught her. Seeing him, she asked in surprise, "Liyuan, why are you here?" He asked her worriedly, "Why didn't you come to me when something happened?" "It happened too suddenly. I didn't have time to inform you." Ji Liyuan said, "Let's go back first." Then his wheelchair simply flew up. He smiled and said, "No matter what it is, you can always find me." Hearing this, she closed her eyes in reassurance and replied, "All right." His finger touched the wound on her arm. "You're injured." She reassured him in a soft voice, "It's just a small wound. I'll just apply some medicine when we get back." Li Yuan reminded her, Lu Xingbai is from the Lu family of Mo City. Although he's only from a branch family, if he dies here, the Lu family will definitely send people to hunt you down. The silver bone whip is forged from silver snake bones. The wounds it leaves are very difficult to heal. The Lu family members will recognize it immediately. If you return to the Feng residence now, you will definitely be suspected. Hearing this, Feng Yao said, "I really didn't think of that. This is troublesome." Feng Yao and Ji Liyuan stood before a lake. She smiled and said, as expected of the ninth prince, to be able to find a spirit pool. He reminded her, "Soak here for one night. By then, the wound should have closed up, and it can also increase your cultivation." She nodded and replied, "All right." He continued, "Give me the jade-faced bracelet on your wrist. I'll keep it for you for now. It's inconvenient for you to bathe and apply medicine while wearing jewelry." She replied, then took off the bracelet and gave it to him. "I've troubled you, Your Highness. Don't be so formal." After that, Ji Liyuan moved closer to a tree. He continuously stroked Feng Yao's jade bracelet. Inside the bracelet, Zili wondered, what is Ji Liyuan doing? I wonder if this blind man has discovered that I'm a demonic beast? 2 months later, Feng Yao led the Feng guards out to the Tomb Rainforest to train for half a month. At this time, the group arrived at the Tomb Rainforest. One person bowed and said, "Master, for some reason, there have been a lot of people in the Tomb Rainforest recently. Should we continue to stay here?" She gave the order, "There must be something in the Tomb Rainforest." Su Zhe, Hong Ying, Zhao Ge, the three of you will each take 10 people to investigate the surrounding situation. The rest will return to Wushuang City first. They all bowed in unison and replied, "Yes." Time passed until dusk. Feng Yao stood in the forest. She was drawing on the ground with a tree branch. Suddenly, she heard a voice, "Let's camp here." She turned her head and saw that it was Crown Prince Ji Jun and Feng Qinghua. She threw away the stick in her hand and thought, enemies are truly bound to meet. "Let's go." Feng Qinghua glanced in her direction and said, "That person is?" The Crown Prince asked her in surprise, "What's wrong?" Feng Qinghua shouted, "You over there, stop. Trying to run?" Then she jumped off her horse and chased after Feng Yao. The Crown Prince saw this and called out worriedly where Feng Qinghua rushed towards Feng Yao. "Brother Crown Prince, isn't he the one who snatched the foxfire at the black market that day? Where do you think you're going?" She grabbed Feng Yao's shoulder. Feng Yao struck out with her palm, knocking her down. As expected of the future Crown Princess, truly impressive. She fell to the ground. Seeing this, the Crown Prince immediately ordered his subordinates, "You error, go capture him." Feng Yao remained calm as the group rushed towards her. She fought them one by one, and the men sent after her were all sent flying. This startled the Crown Prince, who asked, "What?" Feng Yao held her sword and said with a laugh, "A bunch of good-for-nothings can't even withstand a single blow." Feng Qinghua hurriedly ran back to get the sword from her horse. She shouted angrily, "Damn it." Then she rushed towards Feng Yao again, shouting, "You're courting death." Feng Qinghua slashed at Feng Yao, but she quickly dodged. She clicked her tongue, gathered spiritual energy into her sword, and then attacked Feng Yao. Feng Yao was slightly startled, but she quickly blocked the blow with her sword, forcing her opponent back. Her arm was severely injured, causing her to drop her sword. She gritted her teeth and thought, this brat was clearly an ordinary person last time. Could he be so strong that he can even hide his true strength from a 2-star martial master like me? Then she immediately summoned her spirit beast, a lion. Crown Prince Ji Jun saw this and sighed, You really need to change this temper of yours." Zili appeared and patted Feng Yao's shoulder, advising, "These two had a conflict with you at the black market. They didn't make a move in front of everyone, but now in the forest, I'm afraid they want to settle the score with you." She thought to herself, if I kill them here, it would be too easy for them. She also summoned her spirit beast, a phoenix. The moment the crown prince saw it, he was startled. A phoenix spirit soul. He is absolutely worth recruiting. Yue has messed things up. Feng Qingwei immediately rushed towards Feng Yao with her lion spirit soul. The crown prince hurriedly shouted, Yue, stop. Feng Yao stood still, but Feng Qingwei couldn't land a blow on her. On the contrary, she ended up severely injuring herself. She collapsed to the ground. A maidservant immediately ran to support her. She called out resentfully, Brother Crown Prince. The Crown Prince's subordinates also ran over and asked, Your Highness the Crown Prince, should we intervene? Just then, a flock of birds flew over, startling them. Your Highness, someone's here. Feng Yao's phone guards immediately appeared and bowed. Master. The moment Crown Prince Ji Jun saw the person, he was extremely shocked. It's actually a martial general. As the Crown Prince of the Northian nation, I only have 4 martial generals as bodyguards. His power is definitely not small. Right after that person, a series of other martial generals appeared. His subordinate was extremely shocked to see this. Your Highness, there are more than 10 of them, all at the martial general level. They all bowed in unison to Feng Yao. Master. Seeing this, the Crown Prince forced a smile. Sir, we have unintentionally offended you. Yue is young and acts without thinking. I hope you can forgive her. In his heart, he cursed, damn it, that brainless Feng Qingwei. If we carelessly offend a major power from outside the Northian nation, we'll all die here today. Feng Qingwei was still unconvinced, glaring angrily at Feng Yao. One of Feng Yao's subordinates saw this and shouted, What are you staring at? If you dare to stare again, I'll gouge your eyes out. Feng Yao gave a cold laugh. Get her out of my sight. If she angers me, all of you will lose your heads. Immediately after, she and her phone guards left arrogantly. Left behind, Feng Qingwei looked aggrieved and asked, Brother Crown Prince, why didn't you stand up for me? He was furious. Feng Qingwei, anyone with a brain wouldn't have done what you did. Feng Qingwei hurriedly ran over and clung to Crown Prince Zijun's arm, calling, Brother Crown Prince. He said angrily, Before we came to the Tomb Rain Forest, I told you that if you wanted to follow me, you had to follow my arrangements. That person's dozen or so guards are all at the martial general level. They could have killed us right here if they wanted to. Hearing this, Feng Qingyue's eyes filled with tears. Brother Crown Prince, Yue was wrong. Ji Jun turned around, looking at her with disgust. If we fail to get the 1,000-year fire spirit fruit because of you, and Father Emperor blames us, you will bear the responsibility alone. Later, at Cloud Marsh Valley, 2 groups of people were in a noisy, tense standoff. Feng Yao and her phone guards walked over. One of the phone guards said with a smile, So many people. Feng Yao said, If an ordinary person consumes this fire spirit fruit, they can increase their lifespan by 100 years and maintain an ageless beauty. After a martial artist consumes it, they can increase their spirit soul power by 10 years. Naturally, there are many people competing for it. Crown Prince Ji Jun stepped out from the crowd and bowed to Feng Yao. Sir, we meet again. The person next to Feng Yao rolled her eyes at him in disdain. She turned around and said, It's too crowded here. Let's go over there. The girl cursed angrily. What bad luck. Then she followed Feng Yao. Ji Jun's subordinate approached him and whispered, Your Highness, this person has 18 martial generals by his side. I'm afraid the 1,000-year fire spirit fruit will fall into his hands. With such a lineup, this person's identity must be extraordinary. If we obtain the 1,000-year fire spirit fruit, he definitely won't let it go easily. Ji Jun frowned. Heavenly and earthly treasures have always belonged to those with the ability to obtain them. If we really manage to snatch what he wants, then we'll use something of equal value, too. Trade for it. Feng Qingwei stood in the back, her head covered by a hood, gritting her teeth as she thought, I came all this way just for the fire spirit fruit. His Majesty can't use it all by himself. He might give me some, which is why I came. But Brother Crown Prince actually wants to use it to curry favor with him. Using pills for recovery is too awful. I can't marry Brother Crown Prince looking like this. Absolutely not. At this time, another one of the phone guards bowed and said to Feng Yao, Master, there's a miasma in Cloud Marsh Valley. The people who rushed in first were all poisoned to death. Hearing this, she pondered, so that's the reason. We're the poison people. At that moment, a group of poisoned people were lying on the ground. Many people were surrounding them, checking their condition. Feng Yao pushed through the crowd and approached one of the poisoned men. She lifted him up. After checking him, she turned and said, Bring me my bag. Half an hour later, Feng Yao fed a pill to the poisoned man. He gradually regained consciousness. Seeing this, the other poisoned people rushed over. "This young brother, please have mercy and save me. Give me the antidote." One man tried to snatch the antidote from the phone guard's hand, but he was immediately struck and sent flying. The rest of the crowd was terrified when they saw this. The man who tried to snatch the antidote was knocked against a boulder and was severely injured. Fuang Yu's martial generals immediately rushed forward to protect her, drawing their swords on the other group. The girl from the Phoenix Guard smiled coldly and said, "If you don't want to die, feel free to come forward. Today, I will grant your wish." Fuang Yu turned around and brazenly left with her Phoenix Guard. Ko Tu Kwan's subordinate saw this and asked, "Your Highness, they're gone. What should we do?" The Crown Prince ordered, "We must seize it before he gets the fire. Spirit fruit. If you encounter him and a deal can be negotiated, there's no need to fight. As for the others, just kill them." Fuang Yu and her group walked inside, approaching a purple tree that was emitting light. Fuang Yu's subordinate saw it and asked excitedly, "Master, is this the 1,000-year fire spirit fruit?" Fuang Yu remained silent. The girl approached, intending to pick the fruit, not expecting it to be so easy to obtain. Fuang Yu quickly pulled her back. "Be careful." Sure enough, a venomous snake shot out from the tree, lunging to bite the girl. Fortunately, Fuang Yu was quick. She promptly drew her blade and slashed at the snake. The girl said in astonishment, "This snake is actually so cunning. It must have gained some intelligence. Master, be careful." The snake continued to charge forward. Seeing this, Fuang Yu reached out her hand and called, "Tu Lai." Hearing this, the other girl said worriedly, "The little black snake can't beat it." Fuang Yu summoned Tu Lai from her bracelet. Tu Lai transformed into a dragon and said, "Little snake, why don't you kowtow and surrender already?" The pink snake trembled in fear upon seeing the dragon. The girl was shocked. "So Tu Lai isn't a little black snake, but a flood dragon." Tu Lai said to the python, "This fire spirit fruit will be considered a tribute to this venerable one. You may leave." Suddenly, the snake bumped into Tu Lai. Tu Lai became angry, swatting the python away with his tail and scolding, "Don't get so close to this venerable one. This venerable one has protected this pure body for 1,000 years. It's not something a little snake like you can defile. Don't look at this venerable one with those pitiful eyes. This venerable one is not someone you could dream of." After speaking, Tu Lai transformed back into the bracelet on Fuang Yu's wrist. Seeing the snake's sad expression, Fuang Yu said, "We've gotten the fire spirit fruit. Let's leave this place." Suddenly, an object shot towards her. The girl beside Fuang Yu immediately swung her flute to knock it away. Fuang Yu also dodged quickly. The weapon returned to its owner's hand. A girl in red robes, who was leading a group of men forward. She said, "Hand over the fire spirit fruit. I might spare your life." Upon hearing this, the pink snake let out an angry roar, causing the entire group she led to be poisoned. She fell down, stunned, and said, "They were the ones who took the fire spirit fruit. As its guardian beast, why are you attacking me?" The python didn't listen and knocked her away. She angrily called out, "Elder Tun." Elder Tun, stroking his beard, approached and called out, "Young Mississippi." She ordered, "Kill them and this snake." Fuang Yu's subordinate hurriedly reported, "Master, this old man's strength is above a martial general, at least a martial king." The girl in red robes angrily pointed at Fuang Yu and cursed, "None of you should even think about leaving Cloud Marsh. Valley alive." Elder Tun immediately lunged forward, attacking Fuang Yu, daring to harm someone from the Lan family's Tiani trading house. "You're courting death." Fuang Yu was severely injured by his blow. Both the python and her subordinate were startled to see this. She clutched her chest and asked Tu Lai, "Tu Lai, is there a way to kill him without you being exposed?" Tu Lai replied, "Yes, I could transfer my power to you for a short period, but you will have to endure immense pain." Fuang Yu's subordinate rushed forward to protect her, saying, "Master, I will hold him off in a moment. You go first." Elder Tun continued to launch a palm strike at them. "None of you can escape." This blow was quickly blocked by the python. He said, "You're all going to die anyway. No need to be polite about who goes first." Fuang Yu's subordinate quickly drew 2 swords and attacked him. While on the other side, Tu Lai had transferred his power to Fuang Yu. Her entire body was enveloped in a stream of light. Seeing this, Elder Tun was startled. Impossible. How can a 2-star martial master suddenly become a 4-star martial king? She pointed her sword at Elder Tun and asked, "Which of you dies first?" Seeing this, the terrified Elder Tun hastily tried to flee, but she quickly rushed forward and attacked him. He was severely injured and coughed. "What kind of demonic art did you use?" "You." But Fuang Yu had already stabbed his abdomen with her sword. He roared in anger, "Even in death, this old man will drag you down with me." Then he grabbed her arm tightly, his entire body erupting with a source of power. Seeing this, Fuang Yu's subordinate shouted anxiously, "Master." Fuang Yu looked at the power radiating from him in alarm. "Why is it self-detonation?" Tu Lai reminded her, "Danger! Elder Tun has begun to self-detonate." Seeing that she couldn't escape, Fuang Yu closed her eyes in resignation. A loud explosion rang out. Then, Tu Lai called her, "Little girl." Fuang Yu opened her eyes and asked in surprise, "Tu Lai, were you reincarnated too?" Hearing this, Tu Lai broke into a cold sweat at a loss for words. At this moment, a masked man appeared in front of her. She asked in surprise, "Who are you?" Tu Lai looked at him and said, "This person actually managed to withstand the self-detonation of a martial king." The man coughed once and asked her, "Are you alright?" Fuang Yu also asked him worriedly, "How are you?" Both replied in unison, "I'm fine." The young man nodded, "It's good that you're fine." Then he turned and left. Fuang Yu watched his retreating figure and said, "I feel like he's a bit familiar." Tu Lai immediately said, "The Beiyin nation probably doesn't have anyone with such strength." Fuang Yu's subordinate, who had been knocked aside, was holding the python and thinking in fear, "Is anyone coming to save me?" In the forest, Tu Lai emerged from Fuang Yu's bracelet and asked, "Why did this person save us?" He shook his head. "I'm afraid he's not from the Beiyin nation." Tu Lai was startled. "Someone's coming. After I transfer my cultivation to you, you'll be weakened for a very long time. If they want to rob us, we won't have the strength to resist." The newcomers were none other than Crown Prince Ko, Tu Quan, and Fuang Tan Diet. They shamelessly shouted, "Hand over the fire spirit fruit." Fuang Yu and her people gritted their teeth upon seeing this. Tu Lai frowned. "They actually have an antidote too," Fuang Yu said in a low voice. As the crown prince of the Beiyin nation, he would naturally be fully prepared if he wanted to get the fire spirit fruit. Her subordinate cursed angrily. "Damn it, if it weren't for the antidote pills not lasting long enough, the martial guards couldn't have entered the valley with us, and we wouldn't be in such a passive position." Just then, someone grabbed Fuang Tan Duyet's leg and said, "Save me." Startled, she immediately drew her sword to stab, but Kotu Quan stopped her, saying, "Wait." Tianyi City, Lan Yi. Seeing Fuang Yu's group about to run, Fuang Tan Diet quickly shouted, "Brother Crown Prince, don't let them escape." Fuang Yu gave an awkward smile and said, "You found us." Crown Prince Kotu Quan thought to himself, "This person has immense power. If I can't make the delivery," Fuang Tandiet urged him from the side, "If we get the 1,000-year fire spirit fruit, His Majesty will surely give you the heavenly fox order, and your position in court will be solidified." He waved his hand and ordered, "Go." Immediately after, his subordinates rushed towards Fuang Yu. Fuang Yu's subordinate also quickly appeared behind the crown prince with a weapon, threatening him, "Tell them to back off, or I'll kill you." He could only grit his teeth and say, "All of you, back off." Fuang Yu's subordinate fed a medicinal pill into his mouth and said, "Your cultivation will be gone for half a shurchen. Don't try any tricks." Fuang Yu and her subordinate dragged the crown prince along as they gradually retreated. An hour later, the crown prince, leaning against a tree, gradually regained consciousness. As soon as he woke up, Fuang Tandiet rushed over to hug him. "Brother Crown Prince, you're awake." Kotu Quan gritted his teeth in anger, sent a letter to Tianyi City. Lan Yi of the Lan family was killed by someone while trying to seize the fire spirit fruit. Not even her bones remain. Hearing this, Fuang Tandiet gave a vicious smile and said, "Brother Crown Prince, I'll go kill Lan Yi now, and then I'll deliver the portrait of those two from earlier to the Lan family." Inside the 9th prince's manor, Fuang Yu said to him, "Lai Yuan, this is the fire spirit fruit. It might be able to cure your eyes and legs." As soon as Chung Jun heard this, he asked excitedly, "The fire spirit fruit?" "Thank you, princess consort." He took the box from the subordinate's hand and bowed, thinking to himself, "The fire spirit fruit that master protected for over 2 months. The dragon shackles have also returned." Ko Lai Yuan smiled and said, "Yu, it's still uncertain if the fire spirit fruit can cure me. Why don't you keep it? If refined into a medicinal pill, the effect will surely be better. Who knows, maybe a batch of 10 pills, and everyone can have a share." Hearing this, she burst out laughing. "Do you think this is like making candy? There's only one fire spirit fruit. If it fails, everything will be lost." Ko Lai Yuan handed the fire spirit fruit to her and said, "I trust you. Just go ahead and refine it." She immediately replied, "All right." Hearing this, Ko Lai Yuan smiled. Fuang Yu was touched and thought, "I didn't expect him to trust me so much." Suddenly, Ko Lai Yuan said, Yu, in another 2 months, we will have to get married. How you want to arrange the new room, or if you have any other requests, you can tell me." Inside the 9th prince's manor, Ko Lai Yin said to Fuang Yu, if you are unwilling to marry, you don't have to worry. If you have nowhere to go, you can stay in the Ninth Prince's manor. Just that when you want to leave, don't sneak away. You must tell me. She quickly explained, it's not that I'm unwilling. It's just that I'm a little confused. You're someone I have admired since I was young. I don't know if the person marrying me is doing so only because of His Majesty's decree, or if you are unwilling in your heart. Ko Lai Yin replied, as long as you don't mind a cripple like me, what reason would I have to be unwilling? Seeing Ko Lai Yin cough, Fuang Yu asked worriedly, are you injured? She wondered to herself, why is there such a strong smell of blood? He explained, I encountered an enemy when I went out yesterday. It's just a minor injury, nothing serious. Were you injured when you got the fire spirit fruit? She smiled brightly. It was like taking something from my own pocket. It couldn't trouble me at all. That evening at the Fuang Manor, Fuang Yu was reading a book on alchemy and thought, I've never been outside the Beiyin Nation. But for someone with such strength to risk their life to save me, who could it be? Tu Lai appeared and asked, what are you thinking about so intently? She said with doubt, I'm thinking about who it was that blocked the Martial King's self-detonation for. Me. Tu Lai analyzed for her. The only one who would risk their life to save you is your grandfather. Hearing this, she laid down and wailed. Even though it's the truth, saying it like that really hurts one's feelings. Tu Lai continued, but your grandfather doesn't have that kind of strength. In this entire Beiyin Nation, no one could see my true form. Only Ko Lai Yin knows of my existence. Perhaps he has some secret technique that others don't know. Just like how you can use my power for a short time, he might also be able to move freely for a short time. Hearing this, she opened her eyes slightly and asked, on what basis would he risk his life to save me? On the basis that you are the future princess consort. Fuang Yu took off the bracelet and said, I want to sleep. You can stay here for now. Hearing this, he said angrily, I just used a secret technique to transfer my power to you. I'm very weak. You should at least let me soak in a spirit pond to rest. She stood up and said, there's no spirit pond. How about you get in the teacup? You can soak in some spirit tea. Hearing this, Tu Lai wailed, I used a secret technique and will be weak for a long time. I help you get the fire spirit fruit, and I was even taken advantage of by that little snake. And you treat me like this. Suddenly, Fuang Yu dropped 2 vials of pills and said, eat them all. Replenish some of your cultivation. Tu Lai immediately transformed into his flood dragon form and coiled tightly around the 2 bottles, saying, I guess you have some conscience, little girl. Early the next morning, Fuang Yu pushed open the door of the Fuang Manor and saw Madame Fuang angrily asking her, Fuang Yu, you little wench, did you kill everyone from the Liu family? Hearing this, Fuang Yu asked her calmly, Aunt, you always say every day that I'm a good-for-nothing who can't cultivate. So do you think I have that kind of strength? Tu Lai, beside her, said, why is bad luck knocking on the doors so early in the morning? She rushed forward angrily to question her. After Lu Xingbai told me he was going to teach you a lesson that night, he disappeared. Even his guards vanished. Wasn't it you who played some dirty trick? Hearing this, Fuang Yu asked her, so Aunt's nephew said he wanted to teach me a lesson, and not only did you not stop him, you didn't even tell me. I originally thought that someone who put in so much effort, even to the point of causing Uncle's fiance's death to marry into the Fuang Manor, must have deep feelings for the Fuang Manor. But in the end, Aunt is still a member of the Liu family, right? Hearing this, she became angry and tried to hit her. You little wench, how dare you make such slanderous accusations? I'll tear your mouth apart. But Fuang Yu quickly dodged the blow. Master Fuang shouted, stop! Fuang Yu, you'd better explain yourself clearly. Fuang Yu asked angrily, is Uncle talking about the matter of my would-be aunt suddenly committing suicide? In that case, Aunt probably understands it best. Madame Fuang quickly explained to Fuang Noctan, Noctan, don't listen to her nonsense. How could I do such a thing? She must be holding a grudge because her immortal bone was taken and is deliberately trying to drive a wedge between us. We have been husband and wife for so many years. Are you really going to doubt me because of a single sentence from this wench? Fuang Noctan's face darkened as he asked. The matter of Emo Exin jumping into the river to commit suicide the night before our wedding, was it really unrelated to you? She broke into a sweat and stammered. How could it be related to me? Noctan! Fuang Noctan angrily flung her hand away and said, enough, enough. There's no need to bring up the past. Lu Xingbai disappeared in the Beiyin Nation. The Liu family of Mo City has sent people to investigate. If you're involved in this matter, don't blame the Fuang family for righteously disowning its own kin. Fuang Yu sneered. Thank you for the reminder, Uncle. Fuang Yu has a clear conscience. So, of course, I'm not afraid of him coming. Tu Lai, beside her, smiled and said, this little girl can lie without blinking. Fuang Noctan turned and left. Madame Fuang hurriedly ran after him, grabbing his arm and saying, Noctan, weren't you with me that night? How could I have had the time to harm M-O-X-N. Then she gritted her teeth and glared at Fuang Yu. She smiled. As expected, the best part of revenge is watching the dogs bite each other. Tu Lai spoke up. We're not afraid of making enemies, but you need to beware of villains harming you from the shadows. She replied, I've already died once. They are the ones who should be afraid. The Fuang Manor at night. Madame Fuang led Fuang Tandiet, who was wearing a veiled hat, over and said, It doesn't know what she ate yesterday, and her face broke out in red pimples, so she can only meet guests like this. Please forgive us. Those people bowed and replied, It's no problem. Congratulations, second madam. Congratulations, second Miss Fuang. Second Miss Fuang, after your birthday celebration passes, you can marry His Highness next year and become the crown princess. She smiled and replied, It's still early. Just then, someone announced, His Highness the Crown Prince has arrived. Crown Prince Ko, Tu Quan walked inside. The others hurriedly bowed upon seeing him. Fuang Tandiet walked over and called out, Brother Crown Prince. He said softly, No need for formalities. The people around them praised. His Highness and second Miss Fuang are truly a match made in heaven. Fuang Tandiet pulled Ko Tu Quan's hand. Brother Crown Prince, come with me. Everyone is over there. Just then, Fuang Yu appeared, pushing Ko Lai Yuyan in his wheelchair. Ko Tu Quan was stunned the moment he saw her. Fuang Yu asked enthusiastically, Lai Yuyan, what do you want to eat? The banquet is still a long way off. I'll go to the kitchen and get something for you. Chung Jun said angrily, Today is clearly the princess consort's birthday. All these powerful people are over there sucking up to them. Fuang Yu replied, What's there to hear in compliments? I find it too noisy here anyway. Let's go somewhere quieter. Then she pushed Ko Lai Yuyan's wheelchair away. Ko Tu Quan was stunned the moment he saw her. Beside him, Fuang Tandit spoke with disdain. Brother Crown Prince, Yu hasn't even become the 9th princess consort yet, but she's already running to the 9th prince's manor every day. She's really not afraid of what others will say. He looked at her with disgust and thought, if I had known earlier that Dieter's face would be ruined, I shouldn't have broken off the engagement. He ignored her and walked towards Fuang Yu. Seeing this, Fuang Tandiet gritted her teeth and thought, that wench Fuang Yu, she must be deliberately seducing Brother Crown Prince. Fuang Yu pushed Ko Lai Yuyan's wheelchair inside, then hurried to bring him tea. Just then, Ko Tu Quan grabbed her arm and called, Yu, I will return to the palace now and beg Father Emperor to retract the imperial decree marrying you to the 9th prince. The moment Fuang Yu saw him, she said with disgust, Your Highness the Crown Prince, please have some self-respect. He said, Yu, I'm giving you a chance. Will you give me a chance to? Ko Lai Yuyan angrily knocked his hand off Fuang Yu's and scolded, Insolent. Ko Tu Quan was knocked back and crashed into a banquet table, causing it to collapse. The people around them saw this and started whispering, That's the Crown Prince? What happened? Did he have a dispute with the 9th prince? Why is the 3rd Miss Fuang there too? Ko Tu Quan stood up, clutching his arm and gritting his teeth. He quickly straightened his clothes and said, I carelessly slipped and fell. Please pay no mind, everyone. Fuang Yu frowned as she watched him. In a room, Ko Tu Quan took out a wooden box, which contained a bracelet. Fuang Tandiet ran in and asked, Brother Crown Prince, is this the birthday present you prepared for me? Hearing this, he was stunned, recalling the image of Fuang Yu crossing her arms and saying, Your Highness the Crown Prince, please have some self-respect. He thought to himself, Fuang Yu, don't you regret this? So he took the bracelet, turned to her, and asked, Do you like it? I spent a long time choosing it. Fuang Tandiet quickly took the bracelet and said excitedly, I love it. Thank you, Brother Crown Prince. He stood up and said, Let's go, dinner. The banquet is about to start. How can the host be late? After speaking, he turned and left. Fuang Tandiet clenched the bracelet in her hand and thought through gritted teeth. This was clearly meant for Fuang Yu. You only gave it to me because she didn't want it. Fuang Yu, you brought this upon yourself by trying to seduce Brother Crown Prince. Don't blame me then. At this moment, on the corridor, Fuang Yu was strolling with Tu Lai. She asked excitedly, Lai Yin will surely love the fruit wine that grandfather brewed, right? Tu Lai spoke up. In this past hour, you fed him 15 times. Even a pig doesn't eat like that. Just then, a maidservant ran up and reported, 3rd Miss, the old master invites you. Hearing this, Fuang Yu frowned and thought, It's a trap. Tu Lai reminded her, Little girl, this fragrance is a bit strange. She slowly followed the maidservant. Fuang Yu stepped into a room, looked around, and spoke up. This doesn't seem to be the way to grandfather's place. She replied, The old master hasn't arrived at the E-Pavilion yet. Miss, just come with this servant. Fuang Yu held her head. Her body swayed slightly, and she fell. The maidservant quickly caught her and led her into another room, saying, "Second miss, the third miss has arrived." Fuang Tan Duyet smiled smugly. "Well done. This miss will not treat you poorly. After a cup of tea's time, remember to call everyone over." She glanced at the man beside her and said sternly, "I'll leave the rest to you." Outside in the corridor, Ko Tu Quan was leading a group of people. Behind him were Fuang Noctan and Madame Fuang. Suddenly, a maidservant ran over and knelt in the middle of the path. Bowing, this servant truly wouldn't dare to speak nonsense. This servant really saw it. This servant even saw the third miss take the initiative to hug Butler Yi, which is why I came here to report to the master. Hearing this, the guests began to whisper among themselves. I was wondering why Fuang you would be willing to obediently marry a blind and crippled man. The ninth prince isn't bad to her, yet she would do such a thing. You could tell just by looking at her, she's not the type to settle down. Hearing this, Ko Tu Quan frowned slightly, but Madame Fuang said smugly, "You go open the door." The maidservant immediately stood up and hurried to open the door. The group of people stepped inside. Seeing someone inside, Madame Fuang quickly said, You, how could you do such a thing? Husband, what should we do?" Fuang Noctan angrily kicked the person and cursed, "Degenerate, ruining our family's morals and reputation." But when they saw the face of the person lying there, they were startled, because it was none other than Fuang Tan Duyet. She was not wearing her outer robe, only her inner garments, lying on the bed. Seeing this, they quickly pulled the curtain shut and said, "Everyone, you may be shameless, but we must still protect our reputation. Our Fuang Manor will handle the punishment ourselves. We ask that you all leave first." Yes, although Yu doesn't respect herself, we as her elders. Just then, Fuang Yu entered, pushing Ko Lai Yuyin's wheelchair, and asked, "What happened? Why is everyone gathered here?" The moment everyone saw her, they were stunned. Weren't they saying Fuang Yu was on the bed? Then what is this before our eyes? Who was on the bed after all? Fuang Yu walked into the room and asked, "Why are you all looking at me like that?" She peeked inside the bed and cried out in shock. "Elder sister." She pretended to cover her blushing face and ran off, saying, "I didn't see anything. Your Highness the Crown Prince, the person inside is definitely not Cousin Tan Duyet. No, I didn't see Cousin Tan Duyet." Then she quickly pushed Ko Lai Yuyin's wheelchair and ran away. Fuang Noctan and Madame Fuang angrily cursed at Fuang Yu. "Fuang Yu, don't talk nonsense." Crown Prince Ko Tu Quan came forward, pushed Fuang Noctan aside, and looked inside. Seeing Fuang Tan Duyet lying on the bed, his face darkened with anger, and he said, "Fuang Noctan, this is the fine daughter you've raised." Outside in the corridor, Fuang Yu was happily pushing Ko Lai Yun away. Suddenly, he called her, Yu, when did you find out?" She recalled standing at the door earlier, hearing the two people inside calling to each other. "Second miss, Brother Aiken." Someone came up and covered her eyes, saying, "Be careful, it will hurt your eyes." She smiled and said, "In the entire Fuang Manor, I only trust grandfather. But you can't see, so how did you know everything so clearly?" He replied, "I can perceive everything around me through my spiritual sense, so it's not much different from everyone else." Hearing this, her face flushed red, and she said, "Then that time, when you saved me." He looked up. "Back then, the situation forced my hand to save you. I will take responsibility." In a room, Fuang Tan Diet and the butler were kneeling on the ground. Standing before them were the crown prince and the couple. Feng Yuqing. Feng Qingwen knelt on the ground. She crawled towards Ji Zijuan, intending to grab the hem of his robe, saying, "Crown Prince, things are not as you think." He angrily kicked her away and scolded, "Things have come to this, and you still don't know how to repent? You still dare to continue slinging mud at Yao Yao." Madame Feng hurriedly ran to support her daughter, saying, "It was that bitch Feng Yao Yao. She has always hated Yuer, jealous of Yuer's position as crown princess. That's why she did this." Hearing this, Ji Zijuan's face darkened. Just then, someone walked in and shouted, "Lady Lu, you scoundrel, why don't you say that it's because of a mother like you that Qing Yue would do such a morally corrupt thing?" The person who entered was Feng Lai. Hearing this, Madame Feng said in fear, "Father, your words are a bit too much." The butler beside them knelt down and called out, "Old master." Feng Lai snorted coldly. "How you managed to marry Yuqing back then, and why Yuqing's fiancé committed suicide on their wedding night. You know better than anyone." Hearing this, she broke into a cold sweat and said, "Those are all things from the past. What's the point of bringing them up now?" In her arms, Feng Qingwei kept screaming, "I was framed." She pointed at the butler and said, "He tricked me. By the time I arrived, I was already unconscious. He did all of it. Hearing this, the butler explained, Your Highness the Crown Prince, I have admired the second young miss since we were young, which is why I did such a thing. Hearing this, Zijuan angrily struck him, causing him to fall with a thud. He kept muttering, It has nothing to do with the second young Mississippi. Feng Yuqing stepped forward and bowed. Your Highness the Crown Prince, Yuer is also a victim. Please consider. Ji Zijuan turned away and snorted coldly. Inside a room, Feng Yaoyao was lifting a cup of tea to smell it. Then she praised that this tea was not bad. Ji Liyuan, holding the teapot, broke into a smile. His Majesty has issued a decree to annul the engagement between Ji Zijuan and Feng Qingwei. Standing behind him was Cheng Jun, his hands full of bags, his face slightly scrunched up. After hearing Ji Liyuan's words, Feng Yaoyao was surprised. What happened? Weren't they supposed to take responsibility? He backed out. He replied nonchalantly. Of course he didn't back out. At this moment, at a nearby table, people were whispering, I heard that the Feng family's second young miss spent money years ago to ruin the third young miss's reputation. She looked so kind. I didn't think she could be so vicious. What? They were only in their teens a few years ago. What do you know? Does viciousness have an age limit? The third young miss is so pitiful. Seeing them looking at her, Feng Yaoyao broke into a sweat and asked, How about we change seats? The whispers continued. I didn't expect the ninth prince and the third young miss to have such a good relationship. The third young miss is truly a good person to not look down on a disabled person like the ninth prince. I say the third young miss is so pitiful. Marrying the ninth prince. Isn't she afraid of becoming a widow? Why is the prince's leg disabled? Can he still do that thing? Feng Yaoyao hurriedly pushed Ji Liyuan away, thinking to herself, too full and nothing better to do, meddling in other people's business. Hearing the doubts about his body, Ji Liyuan quickly explained to her, Yaoyao, there's no problem with my body. Hearing this, she was puzzled, while Cheng Jun behind them blushed and let out a puff of air. Realizing something, her face turned red and she stammered, What are you talking about? That evening, inside the residence, a loud explosion suddenly rang out, along with a flash of light from within a room. Feng Yaoyao pushed the door open. Her face smudged. She held a small bottle and called out, Liyuan, the fire spirit pill is refined. Hearing this, both Cheng Jun and Ji Liyuan broke into joyous smiles. He said, I knew you could do it. Feng Yaoyao brought the spirit pill to him. Try it. Then she fed the pill to him. Ji Liyuan removed his face covering, opened his eyes, and saw Feng Yaoyao in front of him, asking, Can you see me? He gave a radiant smile and called her name. Yaoyao, I can see you now. She took his hand and asked with concern, Do you have any feeling in your legs? Can you stand up? Before she could finish, Ji Liyuan stood up and pulled Feng Yaoyao into his arms. Yaoyao, thank you. Cheng Jun, standing behind them, saw this and thought happily for his master. The prince finally doesn't need to use the life-draining secret technique to stand anymore. In his arms, Feng Yaoyao said, Liyuan, you still have to pretend your old injuries haven't healed. There must be a hidden story behind the battle 10 years ago. Hearing this, he nodded and replied, Someone did indeed harm me. Yaoyao, don't worry. I will continue to pretend to be a cripple with you. When the time is right, I will take revenge for myself and also for you. That night at the Feng residence, just as Feng Yaoyao returned, she saw Madame Feng and Elder Tian approaching aggressively. Zili, beside her, saw this and said with a smile, They're going to scold you again. The two of them glanced at her, snorted coldly, and turned to leave. Feng Yaoyao ordered Zili, Go and listen what they're planning. Go. At that moment, in Feng Qingyue's room, Madame Feng wiped her tears and said, Elder Tian, as long as the Lu family of Emo City sends someone to kill Feng Yaoyao for me, our Yuer is willing to marry Tian Shao of your clan as a concubine. Elder Tian stroked his beard and said with a smile, The family head is very pleased with Yuer's awakened immortal bone. He sent me this time to first bring Yuer back to Emo City. As for Feng Yaoyao, the family head has spoken. Whoever marries Yuer will return with her after the wedding is complete and take that bitch's head. Hearing this, Feng Qingwei immediately clutched Elder Tian's sleeve and said, I want to go to Emo City immediately. Her words startled him. Feng Qingwei radiated killing intent. I want to kill Feng Yaoyao as soon as possible. The next day, Elder Tian led a caravan of carriages to take Feng Qingwei to Emo City. Inside the carriage, her face was dark, her eyes filled with killing intent as she thought. Feng Yaoyao is only the ninth princess consort now. In the future, I can't provoke her casually, but as long as Emo City, a power stronger than the Northern Yin Kingdom, arrives, if they want to capture Feng Yaoyao, the Northern Yin Emperor will definitely not dare to refuse. At that time, I'll make her wish she were dead. As the caravan was moving, an arrow suddenly shot out, landing in the carriage right in front of Feng Qinghue. It startled her, and she let out a scream. Elder Tian immediately drew his sword and shouted, "Who is attacking from the shadows? Come out if you have the guts." The guards protecting the carriage immediately drew their swords in alert. Martial generals suddenly emerged from the forest. Seeing this, Elder Tian was startled. There are over 100 martial generals. Feng Yaoyao, wearing a mask, led the group out and said, "Elder Tian, leave the person in the carriage behind, and the rest of you can go." Hearing this, Elder Tian was startled. He actually knows who I am. It seems he's an enemy of the Liu family. He said with a smile, "I wonder what grudge you have with my Liu family. Perhaps there's a misunderstanding. As long as you are willing to forget old grudges, feel free to state your conditions." She replied coldly, "Either leave the person in the carriage or die." Hearing this, Elder Tian angrily scolded, "It's just over 100 martial generals. If I, a martial king, attack with my full strength, you won't be able to block it." At this moment, Feng Qinghue ran out of the carriage and said, "Elder Tian, quickly kill them." Hearing this, Feng Yaoyao let out an "oh." Zili transformed from her arms and rushed out. The moment they saw him, Elder Tian's group was terrified. A flood dragon. Weren't they said to be extinct in this world? Feng Yaoyao ordered, "Xiao He eat them." Zili asked her, "Who should I eat first?" Hearing this, Feng Qinghue was terrified and pointed at the Liu family members, saying, "Don't eat me. Eat them. I'm not from the Liu family. I'm innocent." Hearing this, Elder Tian turned his head in shock and angrily scolded, "You despicable person." She continued to act pitiful, wiping her tears and saying, "I don't know them at all. The Liu family forcibly humiliated me and even forced me to be a concubine." Elder Tian angrily took out a talisman. "Fine, fine. If you're not a member of the Liu family, then stay here and be food for the flood dragon." With that, he and the Liu family members vanished. Seeing this, she cried out in panic, "Elder Tian." At this moment, Zili appeared right behind her, causing her face to turn pale with fear. Feng Qinghue was thrown into a prison cell, her hands tied. She muttered, "Is anyone there? Let me out. I'll do anything." Just then, someone walked in and asked, "Really, anything?" She immediately replied, "I'm willing. I'm willing." Feng Yaoyao walked in with a smile and asked, "Even if I want to dig out your immortal bone?" As soon as she saw her, she asked in shock, "Feng Yaoyao, why is it you?" Feng Yaoyao walked over, grabbed her hair tightly, and said, "I've come to take back what's mine." Then she pulled out a dagger, causing the other woman's face to turn pale with fear. This is the end of the episode. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and a share so I have more motivation to produce more videos. Remember to follow to watch the next episodes. Wishing you a day full of energy.